Good evening and welcome back to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How's everybody doing out there on this happy Friday? It's a great Friday. I think we're the second day in. We're 8 days out of the 10 days for the 250th year anniversary leading up to our country's founding. It's just fantastic, and I like to celebrate it every day. I think it's great. I think what President Trump has done is iconic. It'll go in the annals of history. I just don't think people give him enough credit because we're living in a very, let's just say, odd time that is, I don't want to say disconcerting, but, with, the way things are, people are waking up with the new movie that's out, which I did watch. Thank you, Elon Musk, for putting out Citizen Vigilante. I preach vigilante justice on this show all the time before that movie came out. I believe that we are headed there. Definitely Europe is heading there. The continent of Europe is definitely headed there. Okay. I live in the great state of Florida, so they're doing everything they can, and they also have stand your ground. They also have laws that are Good Samaritan laws that would probably actually get into the idea legalese of vigilante justice, in some way. But it's really good, though, that movie, which is now really it's taken the continent of Europe all over by storm. Germany and obviously the UK have banned it because they got the most illegal criminal alien black and brown scum, third world shitbags. I want that shit to come here. I want us to utilize that vigilante attitude because we got a lot of crime in this country. All right, there's a lot of states where black and browns run and roam free, and we're going to cover that tonight. So I want to give a massive, heartfelt thank you to the We Are Rise Brigade out there for all of you choosing us over therapy, over exercise, or having a single original thought. Your loyalty is truly inspiring. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, as the fact that we are also pretending that this is a community instead of strangers enabling each other's worst habits. Yes, what is my worst habit? I can tell you right now, I bathe in the whole, let's just say, mindset of Paul Kersey, because I do believe in some way that the idea, the original vigilante, citizen vigilante, Charles Bronson was one of my favorite actors, great actor overall, really set the tempo. Because when you have a government that's not just a government that's corrupt and impotent, let's be clear about that, in the face of evil, but also as the progenitor of evil, originator of that said evil, what else are you left to do? I think that's the bottom line of understanding that what that movie is and what it entails and what all these other things that are circling about. But tonight's show is an open line, so if you want to call in, yes, I will continue to get those death threats and those wonderful commentary from people all over the place. And there's emails. I love them. They're great. I foam at the mouth. And I'm like, please, I'm practicing my Michael Myers technique with a knife. It's looking pretty good at this point. I digress. So it's Figure Out Friday. There's a lot of stuff that we have to curiously figure out what's going on. How are these things impacting us emotionally, physically? Where are we going with President Trump right now? The Iran war seems to be, whatever it is. And I don't think anybody really cares anymore. I mean, honestly, at this point, if they step out of line, bitch slap them back in as he did today. Hey, you want to fire at this, send some drones up, that's fine. And I do believe what I'm concerned about is a future attack on this homeland with drones. I think that's the new art of war. That's where we're going. And we might see something that's very dangerous that's going to open up a lot of discussions for how this is going to portend. No more comfortable illusions. And I think that I was leading into the discussion of explaining that everything that we see right now, we can't be comfortable with. The illusion, the appearance, what had happened just a couple days ago with Mondami and all these communists now just showing who they are. They're revealing themselves. How many Democrat socialists that are out there? How many Democrats in general? I saw that it was like on Fox News, there was like a bunch of 12 Democrat House members saying they're forming a pact saying we're not going to go down that path and stuff. It doesn't matter. You guys are all toggled. You're all entwined. You're all, let's just say, connected. It's over. The Democrat Party no longer will exist. It doesn't matter. You have an outlier of 12 people that's saying we don't going to fall into the socialist Marxist. No, it doesn't matter. You're all going to be labeled communist. It's one giant paintbrush of red that you're going to see, and everybody's going to know it. So you only have a choice now between the Rhino Republicans or some okay Republicans or what? The DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America. Yeah, I'll choose the former over the latter. It's just, so much click porn and opinions. Yeah, it's exactly that, Trusty Turnham. Welcome into the show. How are you doing tonight? Thank you, Theo, for the 700 gold pills. Still in AR deep in the Matrix. Look forward to some truth and light. Well, we'll get to that tonight. Wood USA donating 219 gold pills. How you doing? I'm glad you're unblocked. I didn't block you. Darlell gifted the can. Let's go, Brett. Rock and roll. Yeah. We're going to hit it hard tonight. Curious Cat gifted the cookie. Hello. Hello, everyone out there. Darlo again with the can. President Trump said we would never be a communist country. He must have a plan going forward. I think a lot of people are just missing understanding what he was saying. He was waiting for the revelation to come about. He was waiting for the acceleration of the revelation to come about. So now he knew this was going to happen. So now they're going to, this is perfectly timed right before the midterms come up in November. We're like, 4 months away. So there's going to be a whole battle that we're going to see. And I also believe that the Save America Act will come into play when they return. And I believe sometime in August before September. Again, will that be too late? I'm not really sure. I don't know what to say about that. So I can't really answer that. What I'm just concerned about is simply that a lot of the strong arming that's going to go on, we see what happened in South Dakota. The Sergeant at Arms was removed for kicking out Scott Pressler. Also, you have Thune, who's from South Dakota, senator. He was censured today. So, look, the ball is moving. Are we going to get Rick Scott as the new majority whip or leader? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, does it matter? Is Vice President Vance going to come in and really do what was done prior to having these majority leader fiefdoms and stuff? You know, these Senate rules. I mean, you saw a lot of the congressmen rip them a new ass because, they're so archaic and arcane, the Senate in general. And that's why it takes so much to get things passed. They slow walk everything they're doing, the President Trump. I mean, you know that. So it's about time. Hello, YouTube. What's going on? Linda Perino, how you doing? It's good to see you back. How's it going? How's it going for you? How's the summer going? What's up, True Taryn? Welcome in. Tonight's the open lines. I dropped the StreamYard in the chat. If you want to call in, I mean, listen, I'm expecting some snap, crackle, and pop type of responses tonight. So please don't be afraid. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm enjoying for it. I'll have a fun laugh with you all. So let's be patient. All right, let's get into it. President Trump, here we go. With God, all things are possible. And I got to tell you right now, if you don't believe that rhetoric, you probably should just dip out of the show. Okay, you should probably just dip out because that's the bottom line. And the fact that Tucker Carlson is telling people that President Trump is not a Christian. He doesn't believe in this shit. He doesn't believe in abortion. He's mad at the Christians and all this other way. You know what? That needs to be pushed back. This administration has to push back on it because what you're saying is that this president is duplicitous. He's a bullshit artist. And you know what? You're mocking his faith in some way. If this is true, we need to have this called out. If it is not true, then I can tell you right now, Tucker Carlson better eat some crow. And you know what? At this point, I'm so done with him. He needs to register as a foreign agent. Let's face it. If we're going to call Mark Levin a foreign actor, a foreign agent, which he is for Israel, then we could say the same thing, whoever's paying Tucker, and it's probably not Israel. And we'll leave it at that because I'm done with this. Let's listen.
Always deeply believed in the promise of Christ's words in the Gospel of Matthew. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible, right? All things.
All things. If it's not all things, or just some things, or none of these things, then what's the point? Why are we even here? What's the point?
That's why, as we prepared to enter the 250th year last month Tens of thousands of patriots came together on our national mall, and we officially rededicated America as one nation under God. And we're not changing. We're not changing. Americans have always deeply believed in
So what do you think about that? I mean, what's your point about that in general? I mean, what's your overarching feeling? Most of us are Christian here. I mean, I'm not going to belabor that in some way to say, hey, look, President Trump coming out saying that right away, really, I think that just hits the everything else is just meaningless in the world. If we just don't have some broader context to understand what he's trying to say, is because communists, socialists, Marxists are atheists. They don't believe in God. They don't. They believe in government. And they think that no matter what, all the samplings they're going to take from all the rich people that are bad, all right, is going to make everything right. It's not. It's going to make things worse, as it always has and it always will. The idea that you take from a group of wealthy people to pay a group of impoverished people is going to settle the debt. It never works. It never works. And you can do whatever you want in New York. If you're in New York City, not, but still the state of New York, get the fuck out. It's time. You're going to go through a living hell very soon that you're going to be shocked. I want to show you this right now. President Trump goes off today. He's been he spoke today. I think it was the Faith Leadership Council. Trump tells the faith group he'll be the greatest communist in history if it worked out. So, yeah, I see commies everywhere. I see dead commies everywhere. I see socialists everywhere. I think this is where we are right now. This is the hiccup. This is what the fight is going to be. Now that the Democrat Socialists of America, who basically are the Democrat Party, are now taking over, you can fully see and be understanding about what is coming, what they want. What they want is your wealth to pay for black and brown and every other third world minority scum, okay, that the Supreme Court says yesterday, hey, Haitians, 350,000, you're gone. Syrians, you're gone too. You're gone. You're going bye-bye. The 6-3 decision that plows the field for the Trump administration to resume not only federal agents at the border to turn back all asylum scum suckers, seekers before they enter or cross the Mexican line. You also have the fact is the Trump administration can proceed forward with ending the TPS for hundreds of thousands of immigrants, trespassers. Don't trespass against us. Remember that? And lead us not into temptation. Remember that? Remember that? I remember that. I think right now where he's saying the 6,000 Syrians, 350 Haitians, look, they didn't come over from these areas. They were hanging out in Peru, in Brazil, and in South America, waiting for the appropriate time to be allowed to sneak in through the back door. Yes, they weren't there. All right. It's not a problem in Haiti. They were what? Positioned to be in that so they can move into this. Somehow, some NGO cajoled them, bribed them, paid them to get into this country in this way. And of course, they put them in what? Places like Ohio or all these middle-of-the-road America. Not blue city state fiefdoms, all right, where they'll be picking up all the rats on the streets. No, they're going to go after your dogs and eat them and your cats. They're going to perform all these crazy rituals. These people are scum. And I don't give a fuck what you think about what I say and how I feel about it. I don't want any of these people in this country. We have too many fucking people from this third world shithole countries of brown and black. We already have enough problems with our own population of blacks that live in this country, ages 15 to 34, with a 56, 57% murder, death, kill rate. And it seems to me that at least now they're cracking down. But a citizen vigilante is now, I think, proven a point. There can be no longer toleration anymore. Motherfucker rolls up on me, you're dead. And that's how we should all feel. You're dead. You're dead. Just fuck right off. And if you come at me, you're dead. See, we should have this mentality all over the place. It's not just stand your ground. It's like, get out of my personal space. Don't try to rob me, bro. No, it's not even about that. The idea is that, look, the sentiment that has been put in place is that these people have been afforded some type of what? Luxury, viability, a pass in some way. to continue on with this nonsense at your expense. And we saw what happened with the Metcalf Carmelo Anthony situation. It's reached that crescendo. It's over. They're still trying to make excuses for Carmelo Anthony. His ass is going to be so stretched in jail. You're going to have a call up of rectal bleeding aisle 7 cleanup. It's that going to be ugly and good for him. He's probably not going to make it. And again, he got 35 years. Yeah, he won't make it. He won't make it. He won't make it. And we should pray he don't make it. None of these people deserve a pass. They don't. Not from me. They're not going to get it from me. Not from me at all. Listen to President Trump today.
Democrats. And let's counter. It's trending number 1, the word Democrat. I just can't believe I didn't think of it 9 years ago. I should have thought. The Democrats, they are horrible. They want to resume the transgender mutilization of our children. They want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. Mm-hmm. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, listen
from
to
now
this.
on, you don't have
It's
to
brilliant.
pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing. You'll be a third world inhabitant in every way, and everyone will suffer or die. You'll suffer or die. That's what happens. For thousands of years, it's been happening by different names. Thousands of years. I'm telling you, I'd be the greatest communist in history. It would be so easy. You wouldn't have to work. You could stay home. The problem is a couple of years go by, the whole place collapses. Always does. Always has.
And he's calling it out right to its face. You're right. Aloha, Mom. Welcome in. Yes, no further than Seattle. Seattle. There are many other different blue city state fiefdoms that you could say the same thing. Chicago is barely breathing. I mean, honestly, they go full socialist, people will just dip out. Because, what's propping that up is people that are wealthy. And the more you take from them, to what? Give to these other people who don't deserve a goddamn thing. They didn't earn anything just because they're brown and black or what have you. Who fucking cares? What you're doing is right now, I think communism is not only going to expose a greater hyperbolic of division in this country, it's going to have anger towards the many communists that are acting up, that are in these positions, that are like Mandami, that are brown and black. And you're going to get a pushback so hard, it's going to get ugly. Because look, all you crazy women that are liberal women in fucking New York that voted for this guy, and all these other liberals that think that oh my God, I'm going to get a free apartment, or I'm going to get a free car, and I don't have to pay insurance, or I don't have to this. Wait till you're sick. You can't go see a doctor. I mean, honestly, your doctor's going to be what? Wearing a fucking headdress. You're not even going to be able to see their face. Wait till you need a surgery. Good luck with that shit. Fuck New York. It's a dead stick. It's a dead stick until it's not. But right now, it's a dead stick. And I can tell you right now, this is going to be, the next several months is going to be massive. The fight, the pushback between what we're celebrating, what we fought so hard against the British, our own independence, our own autonomy, our own country. For what? For these fucking backdoor animals to come in and to say, no, that's oppressive. That's racist. I'm done with that shit. Done with that shit. I'm done. There is no such thing as racism anymore. There's no such thing as anti-Semitism anymore. This is just your feelings and your opinions. And if they don't like it, too fucking bad. keep speaking about it. Tell them to fuck right off. Right to their face. You could say whatever you want, because I can tell you right now, you'll never be punished for it. Because all this other stuff is all bullshit. And I'm sick of people sitting back and saying, oh, well, we have to be gentle about how we communicate. No, we don't have to be gentle. You have to fucking push it in their face. You have to ram it down their throat. Sorry, you have to say it all the time. You have to say it all the time. Hey, if you have to say things that are uncomfortable for people to swallow, it's too bad. It's only going to get worse. And the fact is, if you don't step up to the plate and knock this out of the park, you're going to be a victim. You're going to be a victim. Here's President Trump today. Again, he's at the Faith Summit. I guess this was in D.C. These are hardcore, godless communists. Think about this. Think about how much religion is going to come into play about this. Think about how much religion in general will be the deciding factor, okay? It's going to be Christians in general versus the atheists, because that's where we're going. Do you understand that? Everybody else that's in the middle, that had, decided to draw a smaller straw and they don't want to get in the fight, like the Jews or the Muslims, there's no such thing as Allah. No, there's only one God, and it ain't Allah. It ain't Buddha. I don't know who the fuck Jews worship, but it ain't their God either. The bottom line is simply understanding what we need to know and how we push this forward is, okay? Spread a little Jesus Christ in their lives, okay? Watch them. It's like throwing holy water on vampires. Watch them. Oh, they'll start fucking what? Melting. They'll start burning. Little sunlight goes a long way. So Trump, these are hardcore godless communists. All communists are godless. Yes, they are. Listen. This is fantastic.
Social Democrats, these are hardcore, godless communists. They're godless communists. All communists are godless. They don't believe in God. This is the most serious threat to our country.
This is the battle.
Its existence, in my opinion, Party.
You hear the spiritual war commentary all the time. Well, here it is. We are now going down that path. We'll be fighting Satan's army. Satan's army is full of communists, socialists, Marxists, atheists in general. Their side is their government. Our side is God in general. This is the fight. This is where we're going. This is how things are going to be determined. This is where the next 4 months the path is going to be what? Lit on fire. It's all going to be about that. We're not going to be discussing, I believe, in the future about this or that. We're going to be talking about these godless fucking what? Demons, Satan's army, now going to push back. And every time they're on air, every time they're shooting their mouth off, interject a little Corinthians, a little Luke or Matthew or Mark. Introduce something of Bible verses. Introduce something of Jesus Christ. Watch them light up. Watch them light up. That's how you take these people down. Because they're so antithetical about any of these core beliefs, which rest upon their own, let's just say, predicate of moving forward a godless, theoretical, economic system that not only divides the country, destroys the country, and eventually undercuts and eats its internal soul like a parasite. That's what communism is. That's how people look at it, and that's how they reflect upon it. Listen to this. I like Mike Johnson. I know I get a lot of flack for it. He's probably, a lot of people, you guys don't like him. I do. I've always liked him. I thought, I don't think people understood his position, why he was elected. What was it that Matt Gaetz helped solidify? I know you guys don't like it, but this is our speaker, whether you like him or not. And I do believe this man is a very Christian man, and I do trust him. Okay? He's not a pedophile. He doesn't cheat on his wife. He's not making hundreds of millions of dollars betting off the poly market, Kalishi, or other things like Pelosi or McCarthy. He didn't trust McCarthy one bit. He was cheating on his wife left and right. He was fucking doing all these other fucking girls inside the house. All these staffers. Stop. Just stop. Speaker Johnson says Democrats will go berserk and weaponize every committee to target President Trump. Look, this is the whole thing. If we lose, whether we lose the House or the Senate, I think it'll be a bigger draw for the Senate if we lose, because there'll be nothing there to brace. Okay, could we lose seats in the House? Could we lose the House? I don't know if we're going to lose it. I don't think we're going to lose either one. We might lose a seat or two in the Senate. But the point being, you get new blood in there, maybe we'll be able to pass this stuff. And then if we get rid of the filibuster, hey, we don't need a 60 vote majority. But I think right now, there is something about a truism that this guy is speaking. And we all should be reflective. They're all going to come after us. All your names in this chat, they have databases, ladies and gentlemen. They have databases for you and I. Oh, they'll come after me. They'll put me in jail. They'll hang me. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I'm not the only one. Listen to Mike Johnson.
I am on the ballot because in a real sense he is. If we were to lose the midterms, heaven forbid, these Democrats, y'all, impeachment's not even the big concern. They will turn every committee of Congress into an investigative body, and they'll go after the president's family, the cabinet, his donors and friends. Half of you in this room will be targeted. I run the protection program. I'll take care of you, okay? We're going to win the midterm, okay? All right? I'll leave you to say, I am on the ballot.
I think that's funny, but he's right. He's right. He does run a protection racket, because the thing is, everything that the House is doing right now is not just setting forth for the future. It's undoing that was done and then basically pushing forth new opportunities, new ideas in order to what? Get us to the next level. They already passed the Save America Act. It just stalls in the Senate and we just play games. They've done everything they can. And they continue to push forward on this. Thank you, Wood USA, for the 219 gold bills. Let's see who's here. I want to thank a lot of people here. Trump 1, thank you for the cookie. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. 17 is coming for you. Thank you for the cookie. Thea, thank you for the 300 gold pills. Darlell, thank you for the can. So does this culminate into the precipice with the Islamic terrorists here? I think so. I think Slay News has something I'm going to show you right now. I think we're going to get into, I don't know if it's going to happen before July 4th. A lot of people are suggesting in some way that we're going to have an incident. I'm not sure. Thank you, Sean Joe. Long time no see. What's up, Sean Joe, for the can? Thank you, Darlell, for the can. President Trump said we'd never be a communist country. No, I know we're not. But look, you have to understand right now, there are so many different markers. There's so many red flags that are up here right now that we should be concerned about. We should be very concerned about. And I am concerned with the 10 days of this wonderful, let's just say, celebration leading to the 250, the 10 days of this stuff with the Great American Fair is just awesome, and everything President Trump does. We should be on alert. We should be worried. We should be concerned about what is out there, what awaits for us in some way. And I'm not sure that anybody can suggest that, hey, it's going to be any different than what we've experienced before. But will we feel something? Is it possible? Will it be allowed to happen to scratch the surface in order for people to have all eyes on? Yeah. Hello, Mom. Understood. We are Rise. I believe the World Cup is part of the spiritual battle. Scottish fans played bagpipes, marched, and then brought uplifting energies to America. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't say enough about it. Again, another great decision for President Trump to bring in the World Cup and have all these European and South American countries that come and want to visit, watch, and, regale and enjoy, and just suck it all in what America promises, okay? It does. America promises a lot. But the bottom line is simply that it's taken for granted. There's so much grift and graft. It's embarrassing. It hurts. It really is troublesome about how our Medicare system, Social Security, all these things, billions upon billions of dollars, you said trillions of dollars, is being used to basically what? Freeload, to push communism. That's what it was in Latin America and South America. To do all these things that it continues to do, it no longer. And now we're starting to see the flip. Our hemisphere is changing as the North American hemisphere, the whole region, the continent is going to take shape. And we're going to be, yeah, I know a lot of people don't like that in some way. Greenland will be ours. Cuba will be ours. Let everybody be situational. Let them control their regions so we don't have to. I love where we're going with this. We're going to have Canada. We're going to have the North American territory. It's ours. I love it. I mean, honestly, if you're Magellan If you're Christopher Columbus looking in this, the new world is getting bigger and bigger for America. I love every facet of this. I love the control of our hemisphere and what it portends to. Okay? I really do. I think that the opportunities are there. We no longer have to be situational in these types of deliberations in the Middle East. And I think everybody's so fucking tired of it. That's why the numbers and the polling are showing this. And like President Trump says, they get out of line, we bitch slap them. And that's what you do. Here is a little bit. I'm not going to play this because this is Jesse Waters. It's a lot. I think it's like 14 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not playing that. But I want to show you this. He says, oh, the Brooklyn Bolsheviks just insurrected the Democrat Party. Bernie says more are on the march. Yeah. And this is what we're going to face. We're about to see another revolution, Bolshevik revolution, come about. It's not going to be 1917 over again, but we are going to push back. We're going to win this fight. But listen to what he says here. He makes some interesting points, so let's listen.
What is going on all over this country is progressives
Look at this fucking
on
loser,
the march. And I was
lying
just,
piece of
before I
shit
left the
scumbag.
office, I saw Fox Television and their headlines, "The end of the world is coming. Progressives are winning elections."
Do you know that? You notice how all the communists are Jews? Understand that? Understand the Bolshevik Revolution and who they are represented by? Well, here's a big example. A Bernie bagel. That's what I call him. Let's listen.
Socialism is taking over the world. Real panic.
Bernie watches Fox. What's up, Bernie? Come on the show. Finally, Sanders has an army, but Mondani's commies are a whole new breed, and the establishment can't see it coming.
We talk a lot about the party being a big tent party, and we should be.
We are a big tent party. That's who we are.
One of the things that makes the Democratic Party great is it's a big tent party. We need to stay that way.
These people are fools. The tent's not big enough for both of them. When the commies come in, they're not going to share it. They're there to take you out. The communists are like parasites. They're going to use the Democratic Party to get ballot access, get elected, caucus with them when it works, and then suck them dry until they die. Mm-hmm. The party did it to themselves. They screwed up so badly and didn't deliver a damn thing when they had power.
It's like a hooker that doesn't get paid, but then ends up blackmailing you.
Up their base. And now they're completely out of power. They're weak, brands in the toilet, and they opened the door just a crack, and danger walked right in.
Yep.
These people are cold-blooded revolutionaries who want to bury America. Bury it. Some Democrats get it.
Lady, I ain't in the same party as you. I'm sorry. They're just not. Everybody's always said, no, we're coalition, we're a big tent. And there's just some that I can't be in the same tent with. These people do not like Democrats. Not only are they not Democrats, they wish Democrats poorly. But I'm done. I'm not in a political party.
The Cajun Paul Revere. But the commie wave is creating a lot of cowards. Anonymous DC executives are calling it an earthquake, but they won't go public. Phones are ringing off the hook with people asking, are we going to let them take over the party? Or are we going to stand up and fight back?
Interesting.
That right there is the question. And can the Democrats fight commies and Trump? They've been fighting Trump so hard, they got a blind spot. Ask any general. When you're fighting someone on the left and on the right, that means you're surrounded. That means you better have a big old gun and a big old bunker. Guerrilla warfare on the left, conventional warfare on the right. The Democratic Party, as it stands today, can't win that battle.
No, they can't. The question will be, how many Democrats that want to pledge allegiance, to America and not socialism for what we stand for will side with President Trump? That's an interesting thing. How many of those Democrats will want to basically say, distance themselves because they know they're up for re-election and they know what's coming in the general, and they don't want to be taken out in some way. So the question will be, can you trust them? No. Can you count on them? Absolutely not. But the revolution has begun. because more and more people and more eyes will see in the general election as we get closer to November after we finish Florida's primary. There's a couple of other primaries that are in place and stuff. We'll see what happens very soon in this state. I don't know. I got my thought patterns out there and stuff. I thought Byron Donalds coming out ridiculing the Senate was kind of hypocritical and opportunist. This is a guy who the Florida, let's just say, opportunist government did not want him to debate against any of these other people that were running for governor. I find that a failure. I understand why. I understand it's probably going to be the candidate, not my candidate, but there should have been an open debate that the guy speaks about, that he was using all this bluster and bravado to come out, beating his chest. There's a lot of people I know who don't like Byron Donalds. Unfortunately, regardless, they love Trump. And, Trump, he's had a couple of picks and stuff like that. I just don't know if this is the right guy. I really don't. But we'll see, because when you have to hold your nose up and it's going to be him and a Democrat, you're not voting for a socialist. It's not this state. This state is blood red. It drips with blood of red. It does. It's not purple. It's definitely not blue. So that's it. That's where we're going. So that's the type of articulation that I can make that you're going to see in many different places. That distinction, that operation that is going to be presented to you in so many different facets, saying, look, hey, do you want a communist or do you want this guy that Trump support? He might as well just support every Republican and say, hey, look, every Republican, whether you like him or not, think about this. In the general election, you got to vote for him. I mean, I know in the primary, it's automatic. He's going to say every Republican, but you can't support a Democrat, especially when they're teetering on being some type of blind socialist that they're going to be co-opted one way or another. The question is, how many of these Democrats are going to run to Daddy Trump and beg for forgiveness? That is something that we will see. And that's something that I've been thinking about. Now, that was a 14-minute clip, and I want to continue on and stuff like that. I got more. I got so much more. That's why it said it's Go Figure It Out Friday. Everything is open-ended. A lot of different discussions, a lot of talks about a lot of different things. No more uncomfortable truths or comfortable illusions that we're facing, because we're seeing what reality is. We're seeing what is the end of this barrel. We're seeing what the discussion's going to be. So Trump just dropped the fiery warning. Communism is very easy to sell. I'll be the greatest communist in history. I give rent-free, free houses, blah, 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 all this stuff, real talk. He's not holding any back. He goes, I'll be speaking at 1:30. He goes on with this whole rant. He is specifically talking to people who understand that the idea that this type of parasitical, let's just say, invasion is going to spread. It's worse than a tick invasion. It's worse than any parasite or any type of scenario we've seen. We've seen what it did to many different countries, and with the Bolshevik Revolution, we've seen what it's done, what communism has done to China. We see what it's done in general. You can't walk away from this thinking, oh, it's okay. We can win this battle. No, you got to get out and vote. There's still primaries left. I'm going to vote. I know who I'm voting for, but in the general election, it doesn't matter. I'm going to vote for a Republican. I'm a Republican, whether I like it or not, and whether I like half these people or not, doesn't matter. I got to vote for who is not going to what? Steal my wealth, tax me to death, put me in the poorhouse, not give me any medical care. You have to really look at it contextually. You have to think about what not the greater good. You have to think about what the greater evil is. You have to consider that from that scenario. It's no longer we're living in a situation that the barbarians are at the gate. They're already inside. They're operating. And more of them want to ascend to what? The House of Representatives. More of them want to ascend to the Senate. And it's up to you to make sure you block that in every way. It's up to you. It is. And you can't just sit there and wash your hands and say, someone else will do the job. No. It's life or death. You know, if they get control, whether it's the House or they're going to impeach. And then all of us, they're going to come after all of us. You know what? I couldn't tell you right now. That's why get ready. Get ready for the fight. Get ready for the fight, because I can tell you right now, I know it's coming. It's all rigged, like here in Connecticut. Casey Soman, is that what you're saying? No, listen, I understand. But there are certain things that are going to happen in so many different ways that will make sure that it's not going to be as rigged as it used to be. We're going to cover a lot of things with Dominion and Mike Lindell and a lot of other things. But listen, I'm just trying to tell you right now, with the attitude it's all rigged, like it here is in Connecticut, I get it, or like it is in New York in some way, and so, or how about LA? We can't think about that going into the general election and just give up and say, hey, look, my vote's not going to count. What difference does it make? No, that's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to continue. You have to get out and vote. You have to make sure that no matter what, your vote means something. It counts, okay? Regardless of whatever happens. That once it leaves your hands and falls into the purveyor's hands, the provocateurs that steal the election, that do things, their ass is done. I believe that the accountability of this year for what happened in 2020 and what we've seen in previous election is coming. And I do believe they have an answer for what happened in LA. They don't give a shit about Connecticut, so I don't expect it to change. Okay. All right. That's fine. If that's, I don't know who they are, but, listen, Connecticut is a very blue area. It's been for a long time, just like certain parts of Pennsylvania, certain parts of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So it's not everywhere, but you can't have that mentality that doing nothing is going to make your opportunity better. Just remember that. Doing nothing is not going to do it. Listen to this a little bit. I thought this was interesting. President Trump posted this about President Kennedy. Kennedy was telling us infiltration for winning. Listen to this a little bit.
Ideology or a belief that exists somewhere other than in the United States. Let me ask you, sir, just how serious a threat to our national security are these communist subversive activities in the United States?
Now, in 1954, McCarthyism that was all over the place, they passed a communism act, okay? So there are laws on the book to fight communism. It's about how much Congress will enact this, how much President Trump will draw from this, how much executive orders that he will pinpoint and point to and say, hey, look, we need to what? Utilize what's on the books. And that's what he does all the time. He points out the fact is that a 1954 communist action will be able to go after the infiltrators in this manner and go out and hunt them down in some way. And maybe in some way ban them from running in general elections, whether they want a primary or not. I think that the hiccup that could come out of this in some way is that if we are to follow this, like just say the next 4 months in this matter, a lot of these people could be picked off based upon their socialist values and other things to prevent them and block them because the laws on the book can. Do you understand that? We're going back 1954. So is this going to be a new era of McCarthyism? No, I don't think it's going to be a new era of McCarthyism. What it's going to do is it's going to highlight what McCarthyism was about in the 50s, okay? And it wasn't about going after the big bad Russians. It was going after the Bolsheviks. It was going after the people that are there, the subversives, to take this country down.
Today. Well, I think they're serious. I think it's a matter that we should continue to give great care and attention to. We should support the laws which the United States has passed in order to protect us from those who would destroy us from within. We should sustain the Department of Justice in its efforts and the FBI, and we should be continually alert. I think if the United States is maintaining a strong society here in the United States, I think that we can meet any internal threat. The major threat is external and will continue.
Well, we are. So I'm not going to go on with that. That's a very good point. And I think in 1954, they have the Communist Act that was passed and that we see that going forward. So everybody can understand that, hey, look, There's things on the books that we can utilize to go after these people, hunt these people down, take them out, and actually injure them before they get to a general election in some way. If they are declaring themselves a communist or being paid by subversives that are communist Bolshevik-like people, then we can undercut them and take them out before they even reach a certain position in government or a general election. President Trump went hard against Biden administration for targeting Christians. Again, I bring this back up, the spiritual warfare. We're now talking about Christians versus the atheists, and you're seeing it. President Trump talked about it today.
But as we celebrate this anniversary,
Starting the theme.
we must also remember that our country could have been marking this occasion under very different circumstances. The last administration carried out a reign of persecution and repression against Christians and people of faith like America has never seen before. It's terrible. They turned a nation founded on freedom for believers into a place where Catholics were targeted by the FBI, where pro-life grandmothers were put in jail for praying, and where members of our military were thrown out of the armed forces for their religious beliefs. The radicals responsible for these offenses would have loved nothing more than to mark America's 250th anniversary by driving God from our public square once and for all. They wanted to do that. I don't know how anybody could vote for these people. They were so bad, they were so evil, and yet in many ways incompetent, certainly incompetent on policy. Open borders, transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, just grossly incompetent ideologies, and so many more. But they did not get that chance because they lost an election in a landslide, and we won an election in a landslide. And while I am in the White House, I will defend Christians and all Americans of faith 100%. You have it 100%, and you've seen it already.
So, yes, I saw that someone said a blacklist that is going to take place. I think right now what President Trump is doing, they're going to go after everybody under the law or what they're allowed to under the 1954 Communist Act law about, McCarthy-like scenarios to blacklist these people to go after them. Because whether they're being subversively or, let's just say, controlled, or their operations are coming from outside funding sources of these types of groups of people, whether NGOs or what have you, that are outside, they're all going to be taken down in some way. And I think so. I think we have to consider why that is. Listen to what I think I heard today. Scott Jennings said just the other day. He said, drops the hammer. Abandoning the Save America Act would be a disaster with Trump's own base. Jennings says he travels all over the country, and this is the first middle thing. Look, I think there's something here. We're going to get the Save America Act as the rampant rise of communism will be on the agenda, meaning it'll be front and center. And President Trump and the administration and his team are going to go after all these subversives, all these communists, all these seditionists, okay? They're going to go after them one by one. They're going to break them down. They're going to go after the money and strangle it. They're going to go after all these people in general. And what they're going to do is right now, they're going to put that on full blast. And then once we expose how big and how massive this is, they will, the Senate will capitulate. They will be forced into what? Making sure that the Save America Act will be, I think, passed, and it'll probably come in August. That's just my feeling, closer to September. That's my feeling. Listen to what he says here.
He's doing what he thinks he needs to do to show his base that he's fighting for the issue that he thinks they care about the most, which is the Save America Act. And I have to say, he's not wrong about that. I go all over this country. It's the first, middle, and last thing that I get asked at virtually every event that I go to. People want to know why Republicans.
Caitlin Collins, who shares the same last name as me, that's a man. Whoever this is a man. Look at the neck. That's a man. That's not a woman.
Republicans.
Actually, she or he looks like Scott Pressler. And I'll leave it at that.
Can't seem to get this done. So I think for the president to look like he's giving up on that would send a terrible signal to the people who voted him and the Republican majority into office. He's doing what he thinks he needs to do to show his...
I think so. I think, listen, we need to be patient with the idea that the Save America Act, some people think that it's being used as a prop. Okay, a prop to facilitate, to get this discussion noise out there to generate the idea. Yeah, that's a dude. To generate the idea that, hey, look, we got problems in our elections in some way. No, I think that this is also leading us into something about the 2020 election, leading us into a path of exposing this in some way. But you have to go after the subversives, the communists, okay, the atheists. You have to go after these people because the laws on the book showcase who they are. And if they are receiving money from communists or for outside facilitators in some way, we will breathe heavily down on them. I think the FBI will go after them. I think there are many different groups that will go after them. The FCC, the SEC, many groups of people that are receiving money in different facets will be taken down. Here's another thing that this is what Mandami did. And this is a good illustration of understanding what is taking place. New York City just approved a rent freeze on nearly 1 million apartments. Sounds great until reality kicks in. Rent is frozen, costs aren't. Property taxes rise, insurance rises, utility bills rise, repair costs rise, landlords cut back on maintenance. Let's listen to this. This is amazing.
Live in, it's going to actually destroy them. Freezing rent doesn't freeze costs.
Nope.
The landlord's property taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, all of those fees go up. But the rent he could charge to pay for all that is just locked. So what happens? Repairs stop, capital improvements stop, the building begins to decay. Eventually, maybe the landlord sells to a developer who tears down the entire thing, and then they just put a luxury complex there. The 2019 Tenant Protection Act already broke the math on rent stabilization. A freeze on top of that is the kill shot. And the people who will pay for it are the exact tenants who voted for it. Freezing rent doesn't keep you in your apartment. It just changed who owns it, and then you got kicked out.
Yep. That's exactly it. What a great illustration. As a realtor, I understand this. We talk about the Section 8 and government housing. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. It actually, what it does, it hurts the areas that are in that you live in a wealthy scenario. It hurts and underscores the communities where it affects property values. I don't like this at all. Look, if you can't live or afford places in certain areas, then you shouldn't live there. It's not my fault. Okay. Make more money. I don't know what to tell you. There's nothing that I could say that's going to, but I shouldn't have to suffer because you're indigent or you came over from some third world shithole or because you have like 10 kids from 10 different fathers. Not my problem. Most of them are in jail and they're a certain color persuasion. I don't really fucking care. You know what? It's not my problem anymore. It's not your problem anymore. The reality is people need to start waking up. There are going to be consequences of actions that are going to go after these people that supported Mandami because the same people that think that they're going to get a free ride are going to get kicked out because their rent freeze for 2 years is only going to last. You know, during COVID and all this other stuff, and I remember during the collapse, like 2008, 2009, Florida changed the laws about squatting. You know, they got really, really thick because you couldn't get anybody out. People, you know, were banning homes and stuff and like they were kicked out. And then you have squatters in there. And so no people bought these homes and you couldn't kick these people out. And then Florida changed the law, you know, with the 60-day window. They come and vacate you. They will drag you out of there. Okay. Whether you're squatting or you owned it and you got kicked out and you forfeited the home, they come and get you. They bring the sheriffs and they come in after you. That's one thing Florida does well. But here's the point. This should be representative of every state in some way. But we don't do that. We don't do that. They don't do this in these blue city state fiefdoms. They allow this type of subculture to continue on. And this is a problem. This is a problem I feel that continues on in some way. And yet when you start to see the blue city state fiefdoms allow this type of, like, let's just say, comeuppance, not comeuppance, this attitude that they think that attitude is okay. What it does is permeates around and saying, well, they do it here and stuff, we should do it there. No, what it does is it makes people think in the state legislatures, hey, we got to fucking double down on this. We don't want to be this state. We don't want to be New York or California. And that's what they have done. They have exported so much bad will and bad legislation to the rest of the other states, okay, in this country, that state legislatures said, enough. We don't want to be New York. We don't want to be Illinois. We don't want to be California, Oregon, fucking Washington. We don't want to be these shithole areas. All right. So what they've done is they've set the precedent, especially for the South, We don't want your shit. We don't want to deal with your shit. We will prosecute. We will go after these people that are fucking killing people. They're doing all these different things. We're not going to allow this type of nonsense to permeate in as a subculture because it's okay, because you think in some way you got a black mayor who's DEI and he says, well, yeah, it's like, hey, look, we could deal with this stuff. No, you can't deal with this stuff. You can't. You choose not to. You don't care about these people. You don't care about the other people. You don't care about people paying taxes. That's why if you're paying taxes in these largest areas that are very tax expensive, move out. Your life's in danger. They're stealing wealth from you. I would never want to live in any of those fiefdoms again. And I did. And I hated it as a kid. Growing up, I hated living in New York. I loathed it. I loathe living in New York and New Jersey. Okay? Less New Jersey than New York, but I did not like growing up there. Okay? And I moved down here when I was 17, and I love Florida. Absolutely love Florida. Lived all over Florida. Love Florida. I don't like all its people because you got a bunch of fucking New Yorkers that come down here. I think they're Tony Soprano, that they need to be put down. Everybody's a fucking wannabe gangster mobster until they fucking what? Keep shooting their mouth off. Keep shooting your mouth off. Go back home. And that's the problem. That's what we have right now. We have all these fucking people that think they're tough guys. They're not. They just came from a shithole area, okay? And they think that, hey, look, I moved to Florida. I could bully people around. No, you can't. It's garbage. You're garbage people. You left New York for a reason. Look, there was a reason why we left a long time ago in the 80s because it was a shithole then. Mayor Koch, the bagel, Dinkins, garbage. It's not just that. You think about it in general, what it was, where we're going until Giuliani. I didn't experience that love, but I don't fucking care. I already experienced what? A great amount of what? Love down here in Florida. And I love Florida. I think Florida is a great state. And there are a lot of different misnomers about Florida. Yeah, it's fucking hot. But if you can't take the heat, then get out of the kitchen. That's my attitude. Let's listen to some Rotten Box. I have to tell you right now, I don't know who this broad is, but this is not clearly Rotten Box Clinton. That's my nomenclature for her. I'm going to say something positive about Trump. Hold on.
Thing positive about Trump. So hold on.
Okay. I've got a grip on my chair right now.
Oh, come on. That's so pithy.
Trump's 20-point plan.
Listen to this.
For Gaza.
What is this? She hates Bibi too.
Actually,
she hates Israel
pathway
too. She hates
to
Jews. You know that, right?
Security for Israel.
The same.
Reconstruction for Gaza, and the possibility of self-determination, however defined.
Look at the neck. Is that a mask?
There are a lot of people who, reject it because they're
I'm going to play this back a little bit
for the Palestinians.
Let's listen to the rest of this.
There are a lot of people who, reject it because Trump did it, but it's the only game in town. There's nothing else. I really believe if we took this 20-point plan, which starts with, the disarmament of Hamas, a huge, important step yet to be accomplished, but took all of the 20 points so that it wasn't just disarm Hamas and, maybe do some reconstruction and, build some
hotels,
resorts on the coast. But if you really took the whole approach that is embodied in that 20-point plan, and I know there are people who are working to try to move forward on that, there is a glimmer of a possible path forward.
What are your thoughts about that? I mean, it sounds like her, right? I don't know if so is she still alive and that's someone playing her? It sounds exactly like her. It looks like her, and she's speaking the truth about Israel. She's not a fan of Bibi. She's not a fan of the Israelis and the government. So what does that tell you? Maybe they were blackmailed too. I wonder why. I'm not giving her a pass, but at least she is speaking the truth that a lot of people need to speak. And the fact that she's giving cover or quarter to President Trump about this says a lot, because this broad never has anything nice to say, especially about you and I or about this administration. But for her to come out really towing the line and really saying, hey, look, this type of plan President Trump is presenting to the Israelis is probably the best thing they're ever going to get. And if they don't take it, they're going to burn. They're going to burn. Yeah, they're going to burn. They're going to burn themselves down, or other people are going to burn them down. I think that they're going to be forced to move into a situation they're not going to like, even though false flags might be all over the place, as we're about to see. Slay News comes out. The FBI warns explosive drone terror attacks on U.S. soils is only a matter of time. Now, what happened during the fight, the UFC fight, and this, I don't know. I don't even know how pervasive and massive this was and expansive. It seemed like there was a lot of guys just on Discord just shooting up the shit, talking. They didn't have any money. It doesn't seem like they had a lot of ammo or drones, but they were conspiring to do something to kill Trump and the administration and people there in some way, which, you know, in some way, if you're going on online chats and you're basically threatening to, you know, kill the administration or do things in this matter, you're going to be hooked. You're going to be hooked and crooked. You're going to be hooked big time. You are. Let's face it, because making those threats is still a federal offense. You can't go on there. And look, you're allowed to have private conversations with people. But if you're going to be in these chats that are open-ended, like Signal is, that could be supplanted and stuff. So the question is, what is free speech? Are you allowed to have free speech? Are you allowed to have hate speech and stuff? Yeah, she's dead, HRC, True Terran. Yeah, I don't. So who's that person speaking, my friend? I don't know. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a cold pill. Comments, questions, or concerns. Support the platform. Help us out on Rumble, guys. Drop us a Rumble rant. Let's hear your thoughts. So Rai issued the chilling warning during an interview with Fox News, where he said the threat no longer is theoretical after years of explosive drone attacks. I mean, we just saw a drone attack that happened in the Strait of Hormuz again. The FBI official warned that modern technology now allows someone thousands of miles away to control a drone inside American city. Let me just say this. Is the legislation coming that we're going to ban drones? I believe so. I think that they might have to ban drones for single issue users. I don't know if it's going to be groups or what have you, but there are going to be more laws in place. The FAA is going to come down hard. A person in China can control a drone over New Orleans. See, in some way, I have to say, I think in some way that we're probably going to see drones be taken out of our citizens' hands. Yeah, I think so. I think that the containment of this issue is gotten so out of control that I don't think we're going to have a viability, especially for us to have it. But think about what other militaries will have it. So if you can control a drone in China over New Orleans, well, that's violating our airspace in some way. Can you not think so? Or if it's shipped in and then brought out. We have seen overseas, it's only a matter of time before somebody brings in this type of attack. FBI owns eyes lone wolf drone threat. Raya said the most immediate concern is not necessarily a large-scale terrorist attack like September 11th. Inside, he warned that a single attacker using a drone with an explosive payload may pose a greater near-term danger. I'm less concerned about 9/11 than a lone single person. He said drones with what could be described as 5-yard target are currently, they could carry some type of radiological bomb or something like that and drop an explosive payload onto its target. Yeah, it's problematic. He noted that such attacks not come to the United States yet, but said the FBI must prepare for the possibility. I'm completely, both Russia and Ukraine used explosive drones extensively during the war. Yeah, it's a major problem that's going on. There's a discussion right now that Putin might attack NATO, Poland, or one of the Slavic states like Lithuania or Latvia and stuff as a pushback against NATO because of what the drone attacks that are happening is getting ugly. While the Ukrainian Prime Minister Zelensky said on Thursday that Russia had moved air defenses around Moscow, Iran's military has also had explosive-like drones targeting military bases. Yes, they do. They have a very, powerful drone army. The United States has long used armed drones in general. FBI seized 100 drones during the World Cup events. That's scary, especially these drones hobbyists. And that's the point. Are we going to block hobbyists? I mean, what are we to do in some way? We're going to need to do something to have a defense mechanism or a proactive mechanism to take these things down. They know better when somebody's out of an ordinary, it looks like we do. The warning comes as federal authorities monitor drone activity. I mean, just imagine a drone activity at a World Cup killing 65,000 people. I mean, the sum of all fears is set in place. I'm worried about that as well. What's going on with the everything with the World Cup has just been awesome. The people have been great. I can't say enough. I watched it. I know the United States lost yesterday to Turkey, which I didn't know Turkey changed their name. Actually, their lettering or their symbols in some way, but they lost 3-2. But nonetheless, they're moving on. Turkey's a powerhouse. Don't get that twisted. They're a powerhouse. They look really good. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, I don't see drones going away. Maybe more regulations. Okay, True Terran. Yeah, I you know what? I give you that. I do believe in some way there'll be more. I mean, to ban that in some way is going to be problematic. All right, let's move on to other subject matter because tonight's show, again, it's a call-in. I'll drop the actual link again. We'll get to Mustache Man. It's official. John Bolton is now a felon, pleaded guilty to lawful retention of national defense information. He and his mustache have agreed to $2.25 million fine. I mean, look, Mr. Bolton has just admitted that he put a national security grave list. Look, I'm not going to go through this. I just want you to know that. I know it was shared all over the place. But look, he had 10 charges against him for multiple things. He agreed for one. So is he going to get the minimum 5 to 10 years? I don't know in some way. He faces up to a lot more for what it is. But he made a deal in some way to plead to these terms to turn over what evidence he had that he shared with his family. The question is, will other family members be charged for seeing classified information? You know, it's something to think about, something to consider. Will there be more actionable, let's just say, responses by the FBI or the intelligentsia to go after Bolton and his family members? Or are they just basically saying, hey, look, he operates through Mossad or whatever groups of people that are going to pay his fine in some way, but he needs to serve some time. He does. This is a guy that went out and called President Trump all the time, attacking him for having all these classified secret documents at Mar-a-Lago where they ended up raided his home that had nothing there, that tried to set up an opportunity between the Secret Service and FBI to kill President Trump, to have a shootout. Yes, that was the case. And not only they went through the wardrobes and did some really ungodly things, let me tell you something right now. Yeah, he deserves the pay. He deserves the pay big time. Yeah. And he's going to pay big time because he's gotten away with it. The question is, who is his entanglements? But we don't know who he's embroiled with. Okay? We say the deep state, but who are they? Who are these people that he was working with? Who are the lobbyists? Who are the groups that were paying for all this? His lawyer? Consider that. We haven't heard any of that yet. Let's move on. There's a lot more other interesting stuff that's going on tonight because no more comfortable illusions. No, there's not. There's no more comfortable illusions. Everything that we're having and we're seeing right now is an illusion. It is. It's not real. It's fake and gay. It's the point being is what I'm trying to say is this is why we have to figure it out today on Friday, that we no longer can stand from all the bullshit, all this other rhetoric, all the stuff that basically separates us, divides us. You know, the America First, the MAGA, all this stuff. I'm done with all that stuff. Okay? It's either you're all in or you're all out. There's no in between. You can't be in between. Okay? You're either all in with Trump, MAGA, whatever, and what he's doing and what we're doing right now, or you're all out. There's no in between. Let me reiterate. There's no in between. Okay? Tucker Carlson should register as a foreign actor because he's going to be exposed. So James Percival, the T in TPS, stands for temporary. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take home. I know. Remember that song? Closing time. You can't stay here. No more for alcohol. I mean, it doesn't matter. These people are done. And the fact is, it's simply the people that are defending these scum that are allowed them to get a free pass to come into this country are over too. The good news is it's not too late to get a $2,600 check and a free flight home. How about that one? You can still get what? A free flight home and a $2,600 check instead of being arrested and putting in some type of Florida Alcatraz. I mean, honestly, why would you just basically, if you know that you're going to be deported, just go and do that. Collect your check, collect your money, collect go, the $200 or whatever it is, and then dip out.
Well, frankly, this case never needed to go to the Supreme Court. It's a very straightforward legal issue. The T in TPS stands for temporary, yet many of these designations go back decades. We have designations from 1998 for Hurricane Mitch that we're still trying to get rid of. But to answer your question, President Trump has been trying to end these programs since 2017. So these people have been on notice for 9 years that this day is coming. So what we would say now is it's closing time, which means you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The good news is it's not too late to get a $2,600 check and a free flight home.
I love
frankly, this case never needed to go.
I know who. I can't sing, but Semisonic. I love that song. It's closing time. Last call for alcohol, but you can't stay here. Semisonic. Great 90s band. Some of you are probably too young to know who that is, but I have to tell you right now, that's an excellent, excellent song. A lot of my friends that played guitar in bands and stuff, that was their go-to all the time, you know. Really good stuff. All right, so here it is. Clarence Thomas puts this out on Alex's thing. Aliens have no equal protection rights against federal government. Basically, what you are, you're squatters, you're trespassers. You are trespassers. Yes. Basically, you have no rights. There's no protection by the federal government. So if I wanted to walk up and fucking drill you, okay, either fucking beat you to death with a hammer or a ballpoint pen or fucking cut your fucking head off, there would be no reprisal. Now, I say that loosely because you still be charged with murder. But what I'm saying is they have no rights. They have no rights, no protection that the government can afford them. So anything that they do, blanketly, okay, there's no protection. I mean, from my standpoint, you're on my farmland, you're on my land, I'll shoot you and bury you. Who gives a fuck? No one's going to think twice and ask because no one's going to care. I think that's how you have to perceive this in some way. There's 4 types of people in this world. There are owners, there are managers, there are workers, and everybody else that no one gives a shit about, no one thinks twice about, and really doesn't matter. And that could be in any requiem than you think. Oh, that's horrible, but that's the reality we face. So now you understand what it is to be American, what it is to be an American citizen, what it represents, what it entails. You have the weight of the American government and the American military that's supposed to protect your back wherever you travel, wherever you roam. And your viability, your position as an American citizen carries weight. No other citizen from no other country is represented in the way as Americans are, whether they travel abroad or at home. You carry a greater weight. Your knowledge, your belief, your religion, everything that you have that has been bestowed upon you by your Creator and by our forefathers have granted you a viability, a possibility to become better than what they were, to do amazing things, to have an education, to have a job that pays you a lot, to have a loving family. But all those things are hiccups across the way that are being interrupted by the third world alien scum. And I think that what Thomas was saying, Supreme Court Justice Thomas, Chief Thomas, a stud, a very brilliant man, is saying is that their protection, how weak it was, how loathsome it became, has now been vacated completely. And the Supreme Court, once they're ruled, cannot be replaced. It can't. Now, you can overturn the Supreme Court thing if you get the Congress and the Senate and the legislature together, but that's not do an amendment or something. That's not going to happen. It's done. It's over. So their voting block is over. It's garbage. Foreigners love America more than demon rats. Yeah, exactly. Let's continue on. Here's the blowback. We'll get into other things. I'll get to it. Let me get you some of the comments because people are like, oh, I'm talking. Okay, I'm sorry. Darla, gift to the camp. Brad, I saw a tiny drone smaller than the palm of your hand. Really? Where? With an explosive flying over the crowd, hit a decoy dummy and exploded in its head. Can you send me the video? This is scary stuff. Yeah, I'm worried about it too. And True Terran's like, well, I mean, there's going to be a lot more legislation and stuff. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, can you really operate a drone from China that comes in the United States if it was shipped here? It's possible. Sean Joe gifted the cookie. Darlo gifted the can today. I saw a dumbass commie handing out machetes to the homeless. See what I'm saying? There's 4 types of people out there. Owners, managers, workers, and everybody else that is left to be what? Fend for yourself. You're basically what? You're useless people. You're discarded people. You're expendable. Yeah. I mean, that's the reality we all face. So what category do you want to put yourself in? On X. Okay, good. I'll look for it. Thank you so much. Let's continue on. I got so much more. So here we are right now discussing, and Democrats are melting down over Haitian TPS ruling. Yeah, fuck them. They're all gone. Doesn't matter. The 6-3 ruling overturned the decision by federal judges that had blocked Trump administration from terminating temporary protected status. It's all over. It's done. He's winning every court case. Next up was summarily mortified by Mendez from New Jersey. He accused Trump administration of seeking to create a largest undocumented population that is possibly can fulfill Stephen Miller's mission of deporting and removing as many people possible. Yeah, sign me up. That's what I want. That's what we want. Yes, that's what we want. We don't fucking care. Fuck you, Rob Menendez. This is purely about inflicting as much pain on our immigrant neighbors. They're not our neighbors. They're invaders. They're trespassers. Please forgive those who trespass against us. I think not. Not today, not tomorrow. I'll beg God for forgiveness, but I just don't forgive them. I will not beg for forgiveness regarding those who trespass against us, which really is, made us not great. They've destroyed us, harmed us. I don't want to forsake my Christian beliefs as a former Catholic and say that some of these things, how they're written and how they're utilized to use us as suicidal empathy. I'm not saying that, but I will not forgive those who trespass against us, even though we're taught in the Christian faith to forgive those. I can't. Not until we what? We balance the scale of justice and we, let's just say, dispatch them from this mortar coil completely. And I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to say anything because I might get fucking bumped or attacked or what have you. But the bottom line is they should not be in our, let's just say, rear view mirror anymore. They should be invisible people. And you know what I mean by that. Not to be undone, Melania Stansberry then strode to microphone to unleash her venom on the court. Oh, my God. Representative Pete Aguilar was also, so they're not going to play all these things. They blocked this and stuff on. I don't know what is it with Breitbart, but every time I put these things up there, it shows it. And then when I put it on Brave, it blocks. Anyway, so there's a whole hullabaloo about all these Democrats that also some of the Democrats that are exporting that goodwill about communism and all these other things because they're doubling down on the socialism. They're saying it's racism. Again, there's no such thing as racism. There's no such thing as anti-Semitism. Your truth, your belief is the reality contextually that we're all dealing with. So that's, hey, you don't like Jews. Hey, it's not anti-Semitism. I don't fucking like you. I don't like Israel. Even if you are to critique, you don't even have to say you like. Any type of critique is considered some type of insolvent gesture as what? You're using terms that are unforgiving. Yes, we are, because we're allowed to criticize. My right to criticize the situation is now blowing back. It's blowing up. It's getting worse. I have a right to say, I don't want you third world scum in my country. I have enough problems to deal with the black and browns in this country committing massive amounts of violence and rape that are unreportedly getting away with because they think they can, especially in North Carolina. Because if that shit happened in Florida, you're dead, man. You're dead. They'll execute you like fucking Ted Bundy. And you know what? Bring that shit down here. Bring that shit down here. We got alligator pits. We got swamps. We got a lot of snakes and stuff. They won't find your body. We got a bunch of Shark Alley areas where they like to dispose people very simply. Hey, look, these things have been going on for decades. The reality is that if you allow for these things to continue on, they will continue on. Why would you ride the bus or train in Charlotte? You wouldn't. Especially if you're white. Honestly. Why would you? You would get the fuck out of that controlled fucking nagger state. I would get the fuck out of there. It's garbage. They're garbage humans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel that my attitude towards black and brown people are, whatever, disgusting. I don't fucking care. I'll show you the statistics. I'll show you the videos. It's all over the place. That's why citizen vigilante that is exploding, and that there are more countries in the continent of Europe trying to ban this because they don't want to see people pushing back to what? Take out their enemy. And their enemy lies inside the domicile of their homes. France has a huge problem. The UK is a huge problem. The only way to win this is what? Drop off a bunch of... the United States should just be shipping guns. Okay? We should be... And let them do it. Let them do it. Honestly. I would fucking be foaming at the mouth, frothing in the mouth to watch French citizens gunning down all these migrants. It would be awesome. It'd be like watching what? Kill Bill? Watching John Wick? Why? John Wick doesn't have any program notes. How many people did he kill in his movies? And they weren't blocking it or banning it. So it's okay. John Wick kills as many people as he wants in his movies. But we can't watch a movie that goes after the black and brownies. See the point? No, your time's up. Your time's up. Your culture is done. We're done with you people. The low IQ, the intolerant, they don't have any brain cells left. Who gives a fuck anymore about these people? Okay, so Megyn Kelly, I have to tell you right now, Megyn Kelly gets pushback because she went off and ham about the Supreme Court's decision, vile racist shit that she bombarded from all sides of explicitly racist rant. No, say it, woman. Say it. Say it. Megyn sends a message to the Haitians who lost the TPS. Go home. Yes, get the fuck out. We know our country is better than yours. Your country is a fucking viral disease. Okay? It's a third world cesspool. Okay? Where the rivers run red of shit, urine, and piss, dead bodies. You eat your own fucking people. Fuck you. Because we're filled with work ethic, culture, and values. Your being here dilutes it. It's not only dilutes it, we don't want you eating our pets. Roaming the streets in Spring Valley, Ohio, and all these other fucking middle Western countries, middle Western states that you think that like our pets are your fucking food. You can eat pigeons. You can eat fucking ducks that are, just swimming along. What is wrong with these people? These people have no viability to be here. And yes, they need to be either taken out physically or removed off this mortar coil. I believe in vigilante justice. I stand by it, and it needs to happen. It needs to come to this country at a very faster pace, because the fact is, we don't want to be Europe. We don't want to be Europe. The Supreme Court announced a 6-3 decision. Mullen versus Al Otro Lato involving asylum seekers I told you about earlier. Mullen versus Doe on the rescission, a temporary protected status. Let me see if I get this thing. Kelly was proud enough to rant that she said on X that she got sort of some attention. She was like craving CNN anchor Jake Tapper, longtime conservatives like Steve Gutowski and Ryan Sevater and Jonah Goldberg, Bagel, Nick Gillespie, whatever. Even the right-wing figures with white nationalist histories like Richard Spencer, join critics to pile on the rant. How about that? They all pile to attack her. Let's see if I can get this, because it's just, oh, man. I guess I'm not going to be able to show the video. They had a video here. Let me see if I can. It's whatever. So when I was hanging out on the white nationalist blog circa 2000, there was a taboo of being explicitly racist. All the people I would have imagined ending up on an obnoxious white nationalist, Megyn Kelly. Let me see if I can play this. There it is. Good.
Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who...
Look, whatever you want to say about Megyn Kelly and stuff, that's fine. But her coming out and saying this, she recognizes, a white woman, what these people represent, what she sees over in Europe, what we all feel daily. These people are scum. They will murder, rape, and kill you. If you have a daughter, especially a son, they'll just fucking stab you. Look, the bottom line is what she is saying right now is simply is that, look, we have too many trespassers in this country, and the shit has to end. It has to end. We have to end this crime, the fraud. I mean, think about all the fraud with the Somalis. Garbage. I mean, President Trump, they're garbage humans. They come over here and directed to what? Commit this fraud. They're garbage humans. There's a lot of garbage humans out there. A lot of the world possesses a lot of garbage humans. People that are dispatched with very easily. That their, let's just say, viability and position on this mortar coil can be easily what? Taken from them. As it should be. Because they don't have any philosophy. They don't have any pretext for religion. They don't abide by any laws. They're just animals. All right? It's what John Hobbes talked about. Okay, excuse me. It's what about Thomas Hobbes talked about in The State of Nature. Understand, as a philosophy major right now, if you read Thomas Hobbes, you'll understand what we're living with. We either want to be John Locke and have laws that we're guided by, principles that are put forth. Why do you think the 10 Amendments are there? Why do you think Moses came down with these amendments? These principles that God gave us in some way to what? Adhere to. Don't murder. Don't kill. Don't steal. Don't do these things. Honor your mother and father. Worship one God. The only God. There's a reason. These people have no understanding about it. And they should be totally whitewashed. Because, look, the less of these people we have on our planet, the better sustainability that the rest of us want to grow equally together as a human society, living peacefully and making sure that our culture, our reality, our future is better, not just for us, our children, and then their children. Okay? That's the bottom line. That is it. And none of these people provide that. And so they need to be dispatched with.
Built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended.
Love it.
Get out. Go home. Go back to fucking Haiti. Sorry.
Bingo. Go back to fucking Haiti.
Friends in Ohio who've
Go
been
back to
dealing
your
with these
shithole
PTSD
culture.
patients for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live.
It's not just the Haitians and the Syrians. It's the Somalians and whatever. It's all these fucking cultures. They don't want to what? Acquiesce to our rules, our laws. So they bifurcate it. They're thinking, oh, I'm brown and black. And just like all the fucking niggers in this country, they think they're entitled. No more. No more. It's hunting season. Fuck you. Fuck all the brown and black people that think they can come backdoor in there and say they can act like black Americans in this culture. It's over. We had enough. It's hunting season. Yeah, it is.
And this was supposed to be a temporary, it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here. And they take advantage of all of our public services. And
yeah. And so is she what, I mean, the fact that she got blowback on that, she was very light. In fact, I said worse things than she said. Well, of course, she's got a bigger audience, and I get that. But the point being and stuff, I mean, honestly, does anybody in the chat feel like what she said is so ungodly true? I mean, ungodly wrong, unprincipled? I mean, seriously, why is it that she got attacked for saying the truth? Why? What is the problem here? It's another thing. Let's get back to more communism. I got a couple more things. You know, I have a colon show, but obviously you guys are all scared tonight. I don't blame you. I would be if I was you, because I'm right now, I got a couple of death threats. I got, I see things and I'm like, yeah, I'm practicing my Michael Myers move. And you know what? It's getting good. It's getting good. It's getting real good. Because that's what you want. You don't want to be able to like use your, let's just say, man of arms, so to speak, to shoot somebody right away. You actually want that viability to possess and wield that power when it directly comes at you. Okay, there's something more passionate about that in some way, and ending someone's, let's just say, miserable existence because they can't coalesce with you, or because they're so mentally ill and unprepared or batshit crazy that they don't want to dip out, and they think that by threatening you in some way, it's okay. It's not okay. Believe me, it's never going to be okay. CNN just dropped a stunning number. There's now 66% chance that 6 more Democrat House incumbents will lose the primaries in 2026. Wow. This is remaking of the modern Democrat Party. The socialists are attempting to burn the entire thing down. And if you take a look at the cliche prediction market, we've already seen 4 incumbents, 4 House Democrats lose so far. Listen, Harry, this is crazy.
Might go. What do the prediction markets say?
Yeah,
crazy
if you take a
stuff
look
here.
at the Kalshi prediction market, we have already seen 4 incumbents, 4 House Democratic incumbents lose so far. How about the chance that 6+ House Democratic incumbents lose their primaries in 2026?
Wow.
Look at this. According to Kalshi, a 66% chance. The highest in the 21st century before this year and the non-census year was just 3. We're talking about a real chance that will double that previous record.
In terms of how many more incumbents might go, what do the prediction markets say?
Yeah, if you take a look at the
that's
Kalshi
just
prediction
amazing
market,
when you think about that in general, the possibility that this is all coming into this in some way. So there are going to be more people that are going to be dispatched with in the Democrat Party. The question is, where are they going to go? Are they going to move more to the center? Are they going to ask for Trump help because they know that their lifeline, their floaty device is sinking? It's not working, and they're going to sync with the rest of the Democrat socialists in some way. I don't know. I don't know where that goes in some way. Let's listen to a couple of things, and we got some time. I got some time. I got a couple more. I got some really good tidbits, but let's cover a little Tucker. He should register as a foreign agent. This is what I'm going to say. So Tucker seems nervous. Let's listen to this.
My issues lie in, do you visit the country and then change the way you speak about the country, or use your platform to talk about the country?
As a media personality.
You should be disclosing if you are in any way, shape, or form promoting the interests of another different country.
I agree.
think that's right.
Look at
and
his
by the way,
face.
if you ever
He's talking
discover
straight
that
to him.
anti-war sentiment is being funded by a foreign power, text me, because I'd love to know who's paying for it, how I can get on that payroll.
I think you're doing okay. That studio's great.
It's so fun. This is we had this long before the show.
Yeah.
This is just our family barn. But
he's basically, in a nonchalant way, calling out Tucker Carlson as being funded by some type of subversive group, a foreign actor, and then he should register as a foreign actor in some way. And that his uncomfortability with this conversation, him by laughing, is a tell to divert from, him sweating this out. His reaction is a total tell. Yeah, he's probably on the payroll. There's no doubt about it. I mean, so is Laura Loomer. So is many other people, big name platforms. I mean, Candace Owens, who is she on the payroll for? I mean, honestly, with her half-baked, half-crazy shit ideas. I mean, honestly, there's probably a lot of people, and they should disclose it. I'm not on any payroll. You guys support the platform. I don't even have a sponsor. I don't have numbers like crazy people do. No one sponsors my show. And I would be very leery if someone was going to sponsor me, that I didn't know where this sponsorship came from. I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. But no one's come asking, and I don't fucking care. I don't have the numbers. You guys, it's out of my own pocket. And I'm definitely not a subversive. I can tell you that right now, because there are people who want me dead for the things I say. Oh, believe me, it's starting to see. I was out the other day and someone saw me at the store, made a comment to me, and I told them, not so seriously, if you believe what I say on my show, which you should, then you should really take a step back. Be careful. They're watching. They're coming. They are coming, and they are watching. Okay, let's continue on. Okay. I'll briefly cover this because I'm outraged too, because we should all be outraged that a congresswoman, this Tlaib bitch, locked up for ICE center attack. She goes off on the hinge about all the defendants that were locked up, sentenced Marine Corps reservists, 100-year prison sentence, all this other stuff. She's summoning the U.S. government supporting convicted terrorists engaged in anti-government. So you have a congresswoman who's basically like freaking out that all these people are locked up. Americans deserve leaders who condemn political violence, not excuse it. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole list of stuff. She was basically came out to lead about bitching about this Antifa league terrorist group that was allowed to attack a Michigan scenario, a Texas ICE facility, kill somebody there, a customs enforcement agent. Look, these people got ridiculous amounts of sentences in some way, and she's coming out and saying this is absolutely ridiculous and it's racist in so many ways. Look, this is a good thing. This should be a harbinger for the future of what we're going to see in I think what's been decades long bullshit in Portland and in other cities, in Seattle and Washington and what have you in some way. So I think that giving them 30, 70, 100 years in some way is a good thing. And hopefully in some way that, you know, when you notice that these people that are singularly looking at these things as targets to want to discuss, you need to be mindful about who these people are. How did they get into Congress to begin with? Let's welcome in our friend Owl Eyes. Good evening, Owl Eyes. How you doing?
Hey, Brett, how are you?
Good. Were you waiting long? I just noticed you right now.
No, I heard you saying that you're getting death threats and everybody's afraid and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I ain't afraid.
Yeah, I got someone, you know, it's funny. Someone recognized me at a grocery store, which I thought was odd. And I was wearing sunglasses. I was not wearing a hat, but, you know, my hair was probably not as, like, spiked up or whatever. And I was wearing sunglasses. And someone said something to me. They recognized. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. Well, if you understand who I am and stuff, you understand whatever, is probably best that you don't chime off. They made some comments. And I just said, hey, look, you know, you have your right to speak whatever you want. But if you're going to threaten me, I don't really care anymore. I think that we should be aware that the communists are coming. You know, it's like the redcoats are coming, the communists are coming. And we should be prepared for what that means in a lot of different ways. Always watching our back in some way. But I was kind of like, in some way, shocked in some way, because I'm not a big platform. I don't have like hundreds of thousands of followers or views and stuff like that. I just thought that was odd. Maybe because I mentioned where I live. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Yeah, Brett, signature hairstyle. No, my hair foes up like this no matter what. There's nothing I could do about that. It just does. You know, Trump won. You're funny. She's always wrecking my hair. So what's on your mind, Owl Eyes? What's going on? Hey, has the horse? Has your daughter? Has the horse? Is the horse healing?
Oh, he's getting better.
Okay.
He's getting better, thank God.
Okay.
So, yeah, and there's been
Is there a
charges taken
criminal
out,
investigation on
whatever.
animal abuse?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
You know, I just know that, you know, it's a long
How come you're not
story,
taking
but,
point
yeah.
on this?
Why am I not taking point?
Yeah,
Is that
well, I
what
mean,
you said?
you should take point and say, hey, look, tell your daughter and say, hey, look, you need to press charges. My
Well,
horse is
she did.
damaged.
She
Oh,
pressed
okay,
ch-
good.
she
Oh,
did
on
press-
the horse. On the horse. Okay, I was not aware of that. Okay.
Yeah, she did press charges. In fact, the people that she's actually boarding at, they also pressed charges.
Yeah, good.
Because,
Yeah.
because they're being harassed. I mean, it's I can't.
You
believe
hurt my
it's-
animal? No, you can't. A horse is something bigger than a dog or a cat, even though you love it as much. But you hurt a horse, okay, which probably is worth more than some of these people's lives when you really think about it financially. But when you want to equivocate that, but I mean, just come on. I mean, just seriously. I have no love lost for people that want to hurt animals. I mean, basically, they end up being serial killers.
Well, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the horse community as far as
Yeah, I know.
jealousy and then wanting to like tear if they see you have a horse that's bred really well, they'll do things to try to tear down the reputation of the horse or the person who bought the horse. And you know, one horse got actually injured by supposedly a trainer that was supposed to be a really good trainer, and he screwed that horse up so bad he totally broke it. I mean,
Yeah, I just don't understand people that want to I understand the greed, all the stuff with the breeding and all the money making that's involved, and they got these people that go out and hire people to horse kill and debilitate their. I just find it so gross. I don't know. I mean, the fact is that someone would pay you money to kill a horse or injure a horse or maim a horse in some way. I mean, there's no predication for someone that you can look at and say they're not soulless. I mean, what are you? What type of human being are you? If you're doing this for money, that's one thing. If you're just doing this for fun, you're a serial killer, you're a sociopath, but you're Michael Myers. But if you're just doing this for money and sheer greed, I mean, that's even worse, I think. I mean,
these people they'll even drug their horses.
I know.
They'll do weird things with their feet so that they'll like go forward more, but it totally messes up their spine. I mean, the craziness. And so a lot of these horses that professionally compete, from what I understand, they're only good maybe until 6 or 10 years old, and then they're so messed up they become useless, and then they end up putting them in kill shelters. They take them to kill pens, and they get sold basically for the amount of poundage of meat that you can get out of them. It's disgusting.
I've never been horseback riding, and I always wanted to. My wife says to me, it's like you always want to do that, and you want to go into whether Wyoming, Montana. I have a brother-in-law who lives there. He's visiting now, but I always want to go horseback riding in some way because I look at animals as I look at horses as telepaths. They have some type of empathetic. They understand. I mean, there's just such beautiful creatures that like I look at them in some way, and I just think they're majestic. They're majestic of who they are and what they are in some way, and their reaction to us in some way really just it just fulfills me with like so much love about how I see them and stuff. But I'm also simultaneously scared of them in a lot of ways because you could fall off, you can really injure yourself in some way if you're not properly let's just say trained to ride a horse, or you're an amateur, so to speak. So I always worry about that. I'm going to get on a horse and it's going to throw me off, and I'm going to end up like Christopher Reeve, and I'm like, that scares me. But there's just something about them that just, it's like, I guess I watch too many Westerns, too much, all the stuff. I got watching all these new shows that are on here about like Montana, Wyoming, and it's all about horses. And I'm just enthralled by them. And I can't wait to get on a horse and ride one. I just don't know why I haven't been. I lived in Palm Beach, Wellington is like a huge horse community and stuff. And I never understood why I never went over there to go ride horses, because I know horse whisperers. I know people that train horses that do all that stuff. And I don't know why I didn't do it. I don't know. Maybe I was scared in some way. I was like, maybe the horse is going to beat me up or something like that. Or it's going to like take a whiff of me and say, yeah, you're not worthy. I don't know. I was always worried about that in some way. I don't know. It was a weird sensibility of mine.
Well, the only knowledge I have about horses is because of my daughter. I
thought you were a horse whisperer yourself, the way you speak.
No. My daughter, she's been into it ever since she was a kid. She was I put her in 4-H when she was a kid, and even she was an entrepreneur back then. She used to draw pictures of horses, and she would charge kids. she would charge them for her horse pictures, and she would customize.
Oh, that's great.
They could pick out what color mane they wanted, what color tail, and stuff. So she was making money in elementary school.
That's great that your daughter grew up loving what she. That's good. Finding out that your child grew into something that she loved to do in some way, and that's just awesome. And how many people have their children grow up into something they love doing instead of what they hate doing. So what's your thoughts on anything that not horses or discussions that we can move off on that you want to get into? Because I'm sure you want to get into a lot of stuff. Am I off the mark? Am I too let's just say negative? Am I too vitriolic or with the pushback? I mean, I'm just trying to tell people. I'm like, I've gotten threats. I just saw my first threat live in public, and I'm wondering how we should react to this and how we should feel. I've been pushing vigilantism for a long time because I do believe in it. I believe that in Florida, the boundaries and laws that are in place give us that type of ethereal rule. Okay, stand your ground is basically borderline, vigilantism. I mean, backed up by the law. If your life is threatened and you feel it's threatened, you take the person out. Whether you shoot them, you stab them, you kill them, whatever you got to do. But to defend yourself, to prevent a violent action upon you, standing your ground, look up the law and how it is. And I also look up Good Samaritan laws in some way. That if you see someone being abused, attacked, murdered, it's your obligation, not as a human citizen, okay, but as a representative of Florida, as a citizen of Florida, that you need to go and help people. I mean, the idea that we turn the other way, we look the other way, and they charge people for not acting in these types of Samaritan roles as being good Samaritans. That if your neighbor's in trouble, it's on fire, it's your job to go over and help them out. Yeah, you should. Don't look the other way watching a woman be raped. No, can't do it. And if I have to go and fucking chop someone's heads off or stab a couple of people or just blow them away like Charles Bronson, I'll do it. And I'll face my justice. I'm not going to watch another woman be raped by these animals. I'm just done with this stuff. What say you about this?
Here's the thing. So we sort of have similar backgrounds because I actually grew up in upstate New York, and I came down here when I was a teenager. And growing up, like there was certain areas of the town, like the south side was the blacks, and the east side was Jewish, the north side was Italian, and the west side were Polish. And
we're old enough to understand what that meant, especially what my grandparents and I were taught. Yeah, so yeah, especially living in an Italian Irish neighborhood in Brooklyn, where the whole movie synopsis of the 1979 classic Warriors were basically saying, don't go off your block because you don't know who lives on that block. It's not going to be the Italian and Irish. It's going to be something that's going to meet you in a negative way. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, even though I've been gone for like a million years, I can go back to my old neighborhood and I'm still considered the neighborhood girl,
Oh, that's great. That's great.
My home front, I'm a home front girl. But the point is, you knew your boundaries. You knew who was what, who did what. You knew what areas to go and you knew what areas not to go. And there was boundaries. And yeah, you could still be cohesive. Like, if you wanted a good Italian meal, you went down the north side, but you also realized, there was some mobsters down there, and the Jewish people were just known for all the banking, and the Polish people were very religious. And yet you had, all the Polish kibasi's and the dancing and whatever. And basically, the
stigma, the stigmas were there. Everybody knew what it was. Everybody was labeled something, and they knew it. They got it. They understood it. I mean, it's part of the culture of growing up. You understood what you're walking into or walking with or walking around. It was all understood. Today, that type of let's just say discussion is met with such negativity, and it's racism, it's this, it's that in some way. And I always push people to let them know there's no such thing as racism. There's no such thing as anti-Semitism. There just is the truth or not. That's it. And however you want to deliver it, however you want to feel it, however you want to act with it or not, doesn't matter. I mean, when I was called out the other day, and I was like, you're a racist, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm thoroughly glad that you were able to watch my show. No, I don't watch your show. Then how do you know who I am? And that person was like, it was sent to me and I find it appalling. And I'm like, good, that's great. That's the point. That's exactly how you should feel. You should be appalled. And that person was like, no, you're disgusting. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm disgusting. So my visceral reaction to this person is like, that's great. We all should be disgusted about the situation that we're dealing with. No, that's not it. And then they threw out the Trump stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you always do because I already know where you're coming from. You have a great day and stuff. So I walked away. and that person wasn't following me. Okay, didn't circle around the store and stuff, so I made sure. And when I walked out and stuff, looked over my back. The first thing I went to is my my trunk, where a certain thing is, to make sure something is not going to happen to me. So I play Charles Bronson. But the point being and stuff. But that's it right away. That's what their attack is. You are a Trump guy. Yeah, I don't hold. Honestly, yeah. I'm all in it. I'm all in it to win it. There's no walking away from it. There's just none. There's no walking away from it. I understand what you're going to say, but there's no walking away from what we have been, let's just say, been told, what we've seen as the truth. You have to understand is that right now we're about to see a really violent group of communists come into power and position, and it's going to really get into a dogmatic fight between spiritual conversation between atheists and Christians. I think it's coming. I think this is it. This is where we are.
Well, so like what I was saying, so back in the day, you know, people knew their boundaries, but they've been so blurred. They have been so blurred now. People do not know their boundaries, and so that's part of the problem right there. And then with the taking down of America, I mean, I can remember when they started, you know, NAFTA, and they started shipping all of our jobs overseas and stuff. I remember when Clinton did all that, and everything started leaving, like New York State. All the companies, Kodak, Carrier, just everything started leaving New York, and they started coming south, and then eventually they ended up just totally leaving the country and going overseas. So this was the takedown of America. But in the meantime, you know, our rules and our laws are being used against us. So when they started bringing in all these people doing, you know, the replacement of the people here in America, and they started bringing in these people, they came in and they used our laws and our rules and everything against us. And all of a sudden they were placed in a position of authority and power over us and an entitlement. And we've just been, quite frankly, shit on while we've been supporting them. And it's gotten to the point now where it's just escalated up, you know, that we're just not going to do it anymore.
Well, cutting off USAID was probably the best, because if you see what transpired in Latin America, South America, is that it's all conservative people that are now taking charge of their countries that have now been in place. And the fact that these Latin conservative areas, or these new, you know, these countries down there in South America, Latin America, are able to count the vote immediately, and that we're still counting the vote for California is not just a tell in some ways that California is basically you know, a captured state. And I don't know what we're going to do. What does the president have in place? When are we ready to see the evidence to really, when are we going to go in and arrest these people? I mean, obviously we don't know what's taking place behind the scenes with a lot of stuff, because we ask all the time what's going on, but everything that we're seeing full frontal, I mean, where's the rest full frontal for these people? For Newsom, his wife, Karen Bass. I mean, yeah, some people made deals and stuff, they'll dip out, but what we're seeing right now is that there's stolen elections all over the place. I mean, the fact that Lindell basically won a stalemate against Dominion, but he should be suing them for lost money, lost wages, lost pay. He put his own wealth in there in this. I would be kind of suing them left and right for all the financial toil and trouble and money that they went through in some way, and get them in discovery to admit this stuff. Why do they want to drop this case? Because they know what's coming. They understand that a new company's taken over Dominion's Liberty, something, whatever. Maybe they'll be much more, let's just say, comfortable releasing the information and helping this, you know, through. But look, we got 4 months before, 4 or 5, was it June, July, August, September, October, November? Yeah, 5 months. We got about almost 5 months. I'll say 4 months, 4.5 months until November. And, you know, I've been saying left and right, we have to be serious about voting in the primary, voting in the general. I mean, there are primaries all over the place. I got to deal with it in August in Florida very soon, or excuse me, late July, very soon for our primaries. What's going on? Yeah, my district right here in Tampa is going to be redone because of of Congress and what they're doing. So I'm not going to have to deal with a Democrat again, like I deal with in Palm Beach. I had a lifelong Democrat running my district in the 22nd district there, and this 14th district in Tampa, that's going to be done. So she's gone. So it'll be new people, new blood in here. I'm just basically like, look, I look forward to the change in a lot of ways. I don't know what's going to happen with Florida in general with the gubernatorial race, but I look forward to the change. And I think that we have to embrace it no matter what. We are dealing with people that are evil, fascist, godless. Let's put it this way. They hate everything antithetical that you believe in. They want to take your wealth and give it to some fucking schlep or third world scum, brown and black, because you don't deserve it. You didn't earn it, even though you worked hard for it. That's what they want to do. It's all about what? Taking money from you and giving it to someone else, or finding ways to move money around like they do the shell game in New York. That's all it is. It's a shell game. It's not really responsive to what the people's needs are. But people are completely batshit, brainwashed, crazy to believe that in some way, my free rent, my free insurance, my free car, my free is going to happen. Yeah, it sounds good, as Trump said. It sounds great, but it's not going to happen. No real intelligent human being believes that. No one believes that they're going to get free anything. I don't know who purposely believes. I mean, these young people that have been so brainwashed, so captured, so with the idolatry of communism and Marxism, they think that they're entitled, they deserve this stuff, that they're owed this in some way. All right. And then they want to just, poo-poo the boomers because they did all these things and blame us Gen X and stuff. Hell, I was walking home at 9 years old at 9 o'clock at night, a mile and a half away. There was no phone, no nothing. Okay. We lived in a time that we did things on our own. I moved out when I was 17 in high school. My senior year when I moved down in this fucking state. Yeah. And it was great. It was glorious. I never saw more freedom in my life at the age of 17 years old. I didn't get emancipated, but I had an opportunity to live in an apartment or outside of this. Okay. At 17, senior high school, I was always advanced because of the regents. Do you understand that? How many times will these kids have this opportunity then? No. Shit is way too fucking expensive. Things are out of control. You know why things are out of control? Is because we allow these people the last 4 years to subvert our country, and it's taken a lot longer to bring them down in some way. And I don't know how fast we can crash this to lower the gas, lower this, because the concept of affordability is not what you and I think it is.
Yeah, I left home when I was 19 with $20 and a plane ticket, and I used to have to hitchhike when I got down here.
You moved to Florida? Is that what you're saying? You don't have to tell me.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, I live in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
And I used to have to hitchhike back
from New York. I got you. Okay,
New York.
I got you.
Yeah, from upstate. Okay. So, but here's the thing: we cannot have a general election until the primaries are straight, and right now the primaries are still being stolen. So my thought process is, we can go ahead and vote in these primaries and we can watch them get stolen and all that kind of good stuff, but we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to redo the primaries. I think they're still collecting data. Yeah. And I think they're going to let the primaries get stolen. They're going to continue to collect data. They're going to find out who really won, who didn't really win, blah, blah, blah. And then I think something's going to happen. We're going to have to go back in and we're going to have to, there's going to have to be a pause. We're going to have to do a new.
All right, let me stop you there because I agree with you. Do you think I said, Marcia and I talk about this. We said this last year, and I said this early on this year. I don't think we're going to have a midterm election. And I'm standing by it because I did say it last year, and I said it multiple times early on this year. So I can't walk out of that conversation. So again, I ask you, will we have a general election for the midterms in 2026?
I think we're going to allow them to steal the primaries, and then we're going to go back and we're going to go after the people because we cannot have a general unless we actually have the real people who won the primaries.
Correct. That's exactly what I'm thinking, because you can't move forward with this in some way. We know for a fact, as Trump has said, like people like Pratt's all quiet right now. Of course he is, because they got all the information. Well, he doesn't need to say anything. Let this fallout happen. Keep quiet. Let it all what happened. Because as you're suggesting, Alwise, is that, look, you can't move forward if you know that many elections have been subverted. And if they have been, we need to what? Fix that, course correct that, arrest these people for subverting elections, because it's a federal crime. Not just that, expose it, and then say, hey, look, we might have to go and redo this in some way. Or somebody else that was stolen from needs to have what? Their pathway forward in some way. As we'll just do example as Pratt. I mean, look, how many elections so far this year? How about 2024? I don't know. When is the time that we rug pull all of this? We've been waiting. A lot of people want answers. They just don't know when it's coming.
Well, I think now this is just me. I think all this is going to end up being brought into with 2020, and I think
Me too.
I think probably I'm going to say mid-September we will start.
Right.
I'm thinking all the primaries will be done by then, and I think.
Now, do you think about the? I'm sorry. Do you? I don't want to interject. Do you? Because I've been saying that I do believe that Thune will be forced to push the Save America Act based upon your supposition and your discussion about what we're talking about all the available fraud that would be so out of control in your face that they will have to be forced to pass this because it'll be basically all over it. So they will, from what we're about to see very soon is that's what we're waiting for. They come back in July, and I think that sometime in August or September, the Save America Act will be pushed because the fraud will be revealed. Is that possible, or is that any commensurate to what you're suggesting?
Well, did you hear that? I think this past week, Tim Scott had invited Trump to Congress or whatever to have a meeting, and then that's when Trump ended up meeting with Thune, and there was a Scream Festival, whatever, and some stuff went down. But what I heard was that with Tim Scott, he was getting people around him or something that if there's so many senators or people in Congress or whatever, there's a certain number that they can actually go in and they can overthrow Thune.
Yeah, they can. Well, you need 21 because that's what would put Rick Scott in. Rick Scott, my senator right now, he was in that position, and of course, he didn't get the available votes, but you have to see this. So I think in some way the question will be, will they reconvene, and vote Thune out as he's censured in South Dakota by his own congressional district in some way? Are we going to see the opportunity where new senators have the balls to do this? Or is it just that we're going to have to bring J.D. Vance in there, push them aside and say, Vance is going to control this, as Mike Lee has stated? It's possible. I don't know if we have time to elect a new majority leader, but if his state of grace is falling out, as we're seeing in some way, that the idea that postponement's going to come and people will be able to dunk on this because you're going to have 3 weeks to figure this out. The question will be, will they vote on it? And how will that inner majority vote on? You need 21 senators to vote a new majority leader in. So the question will be, do they want to go down with the ship? And who are those people? Because we always know the 4 people that are prevailing, douchebags that are out there. Murkowski, Collins, you got, sometimes Rand Paul, you got McConnell, you always got someone coming back and forth in this loop in some way. But who are the people who are really going to say, hey, look, we got to fucking do this. We have no choice. If we don't do this, we're fucked. And I think that there's a greater responsibility by what they're seeing right now. They're worried. They are worried.
I think there's a couple of ways this can go down, and if nothing else, Trump will have to do a state of emergency. And the other thing is, whatever happened to the Brunson case? We
talk about it all the time. I don't know. I mean, when is that? I mean, that thing is just hanging around. The other day I was looking that up, and it's still hanging around in the circumference of the conference of that. So is that going to be something that is going to be later extolled out for us to see in some way? Is that already been done? I don't know when that case is ever going to be brought into the Supreme Court and questions are going to be deliberated and asked to the Brunsons in some way. And how is this? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people thought it was all a fabrication, a lie, but look, if it was true that it was a fabrication, a lie, and all this stuff was bullshit, then why is it still in the circumference? It's in the conference of their opportunity to move this into debate. We're having 5 Supreme Court justices deliberate on this if they want to move forward for the whole court to hear. Do you understand that? It already been kicked out, and this has been years. So think about it. There's something going on.
Or that's going to be used as leverage, I think, even with this election.
Leverage against who, though? Leverage against who? That's the question.
With the people who are in our government right now fraudulently.
Well, exactly. The 385 people, according to Brunson's case, and plus you have Mike Pence, you have Kamala, Biden, you have the vice president, you have many other people that were Nancy Pelosi, many people participating in this that will never ever become allowed to be legislators ever again. We don't know if these people moved off, moved in, moved out in some way, but there was 385 named people at that time during that case that the case was filed about. Mike Pence was one of them. I think Joe Biden was another. I think it was the former VP and the current what's her name that ran for president in some way. I can't even think of her because she makes me sick. I just think when you really look at it in some way, it's out there. I mean, it will be leveraged to remove a lot of people. It could fast track. How many of those people still remain in some way? But what are we going to do about making sure that we blockade all the communists that are incoming in some way? We're going to have to really show how much of the fraud was that much more viable and in our face, and that they were doing these things so so egregiously that we really have to stop this. I just don't think that we're going to have the election based upon what your summation is and what I've been saying for a year and a half and stuff. If the fraud is so, let's just say, deliberate and in your face, and it's going to be, it's here it is. Well, then how do you have an election? How do you have an election? How can you have an election? You can't. You can't tell the people that our elections are stable when there's mass amounts of fraud all over the place just this year alone. Forget about last year or 2024 or 2020.
This is the hill we're going to die, and this is it.
Yeah,
it's either
it has to be.
This is it. But so I'm not really I told you last time, I'm not really worried about the election. What I'm more concerned about is they're more immediate as far as what they're going to do to stop, to just cause so much death and destruction. So even this stuff that just happened in Venezuela, it's beginning to look like that was not actual earthquakes, that they were actually caused. Same with
I've heard about this too. I've been looking at that. That's why I haven't been covering it, because I'm not really sure if this was done on purpose. The question is, who did this and why did they do this in some way? And you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people dead. I mean, and they're going to try to blame this on the Trump administration. Let's be clear about this.
And just like with COVID, think about COVID. When COVID happened, what did Trump do? He took 2 of the ships. He had one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. Right. He brought in the military. So what is he doing right now? He's taking our ships down there. He's brought in the military, and it's a search and rescue right now, right? But Trump doesn't never do anything for just one reason. There's always multiple reasons why he does something. And I think he's down there with our military or whatever, and they're also doing something else. Whatever.
I agree with that 100%. And you're the first person that has commented on that, because I've seen so much supposition, like people just and I'm thinking there's just no way we left all the ships there in some way, and this happened so coincidentally at this time that would invite us to be there on a search and rescue mission. And so there's something much more impactful, and I think it's evasive for the conversation not to be discussed, but no one's talking about it. I only saw one person talk about that this is not a natural earthquake, not the way it was done. So whatever is taking place in some way is happening, but they're trying to paint this as we did this for this country to fall, to be rebuilt. I don't believe that at all. There's no proof of that.
They want to do 15-minute cities, from what I hear.
Yeah.
They want to do 15-minute cities in Caracas, just like they wanted to do it in the Palisades, and just like they wanted to do it Lahaina or whatever the heck the name of it was. So
Yeah.
there's a pattern. There's just a pattern going, and so they're not stopping. I don't think it would matter whether Trump was in office or not. They were going to do this to Venezuela, whether Trump was in office or not, just like they did it with Lahaina, just like they did it with the Palisades. I think they have their agenda, and they're, you know, whatever's going on in Japan. I think they have their agenda. They're still going by their agenda and their plan. So there's just going to be additional hiccups. And now we're going to go back to the election and everything. I think the people in New York sounds like they're starting to wake up. I mean, with, you know, all of a sudden they say, oh my God, you know, these people are communists, you know, these Democrats, oh, they're communists. It's like, really, you couldn't get a clue when you had thousands of people pulling out their prayer rugs in Times Square that something wasn't right.
I mean, honestly, I mean, the fact is that you allowed this stuff. You voted for this. 84% that voted for Mandami were women under a certain age group, liberal women that voted from on the millennials. And you know what? This is what you got, because you can't get a man, you can't get laid, and you think, well, Mandami's going to save me in some way. I mean, the idea in some way, you think that the government is going to give you anything free. Look what they tried to do with President Trump, setting up some type of fund to give back to all the people that were railroaded by the Justice Department and many other entities in the United States government that put people in jail, that lost their jobs and their families. If you think that wasn't a sustained attack, wait till you see. And also, when you hear about the acting DOJ Attorney General saying, yeah, well, it's not off the table, but right now there's not people that want to do this because they don't want to admit that January 6th was what? Was a facilitation, orchestration to what? To subvert our government, to attack the people, to what? To steal the election. That's what it was. Thank you, Theo, for the cookie, Senior Polo for the cookie. If we didn't have streamers like Brett, where would we go for the truth and entertainment? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie. Wood USA for 259 gold pills. Senior KC Snowman, what's up? You got something to say? Gifted the shades. You keep it real, Brett. I appreciate that you love your show. I was never politically correct. Never will be, just like you. Hey, I appreciate that. You know, I've heard a lot of those sentiments same way. It's not about being politically correct or any of this stuff. I got people that tell me all the time, you just say it. You don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I got hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't care. I say what I say. If you don't like it, then you don't have to listen. I'm not going to fucking berate you. I'm not going to twist your arm. I beg people to come on. People don't want to come on because they're scared to have a conversation. And Allies comes on all the time. This is a female woman, a female that is older that likes to have conversations. I'm not biting her head off. We're just talking. I mean, there's certain people. I've had people tell me all the time, Allies, that you're just too brash for me. And I'm just like, okay, well, you don't have to come on. Thank you, Thea, for the 600 gold pills. Wood USA, thank you for 537 gold pills. Need more gold pill love. Sean Joe, thank you for the cookie. I'm sorry. I had to give that out. I dropped all the gold pills for everybody to have. So hopefully you get it. Your parting thoughts. But I get people all the time saying, am I so difficult to talk to? Is it because they just don't like what I got to say? Or they're just concerned that I might bite their head off? I mean, I don't know.
No, Brett, it's just the New Yorker coming out in you.
Do I still have the New Yorker out of me? Do I still sound like a fucking guy from Brooklyn? You know, my wife, you know, we were out. I remember we went out. This was like a month or two ago. We went out to, it was like an early dinner, maybe afternoon or something like that. And we went out and we're eating. And I guess the server's like, the waitress is like, and she's like, oh, are you visiting and stuff? I'm like, no, I live in Tampa and stuff. She's like, you sound like you're from Brooklyn. I'm like, I used to live there. And I'm like, but that was like decades ago. How long you living in Florida? I'm like, almost like 35 years. He's like, yeah, it sounds like you just moved here. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. But yeah, I get that all the time. And I don't know if it's because of the Irish or the Italian. You know, the funniest thing is I can't shake. That's the thing. I've moved out at 17. And I just can't get rid. I don't know what it is. And, you know, I don't watch all the, you know, the only, I love Godfather 2 and the original. I like, I don't watch The Sopranos. I don't watch all those glorified movies. I don't believe. My grandfather used to tell me he's Nabodan. He's dead. And he's like, stay away from all that stuff. You don't want to be a part of that culture and stuff. And I'm not, because I'm half Irish, and I'm like, I don't feel that way. I don't have that sentiment. I don't believe in that nonsense, that chaos, that mafioso stuff. I never liked that stuff anyway. And the stories that I was told and the things that I've seen, I'm like, I hate all that shit. All that is another part of what? The grift and the graft that goes on in this country. So, I'm not a proponent of that. I don't glorify that in any way. And I find it offensive to a lot of people. I mean, you watch like certain movies. I'm a big Sinatra guy and old movies, old war movies in some way. And if you ever watch certain movies and stuff, they glorify and they have a certain narrative they want to persecute groups of people and stuff like Kelly's Heroes, one of my favorite movies. I watch it almost daily. I love that movie so much. It's not even fun. All the actors in it in some way. But to see how that movie was done and the certain adaptations of that movie, especially with certain actors that are in there that don't fit the bill of a World War II narrative in some way. That is striking for some reason because of the time frame the movie was set and came out in 1969. Think about Donald Sutherland's character in that as oddball in some way. He acted up like this hippie guy, this tank guy in some way that is from the 70s, but the movie was supposed to be set in that time frame. There's a certain je ne sais quoi that was made to show that movie that I think that hippie mentality in some way doesn't help you fight wars. And I think that was put in that movie in some way, that this peace-loving, all this other stuff at the time that it was filmed is not going to get you the result that you needed. And I think that was some of the qualitative discussions that the movie represented in some way. In order to win war, you have to kill people. And that was the basis of understanding that movie in a lot of ways. And a lot of people were looking out for them. We're here, we get drafted, and then we die for what? What do we get out of this? That's what people are looking. We see all these people coming in this country and murdering, killing, and raping and stuff, and we can't do anything about it. No, fuck that. I preach all the time, vigilante justice.
You're imprinted by the time you're about 6 years old, so you've been imprinted. You're a Yankee, okay? You're a New Yorker.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing is you talked about Charles Bronson. So
it's my favorite actor. It's him and Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson. Well, Charles Bronson, for the movies he's done, when you think about it, and Charles Bronson, I mean, I think, there's a 80, 81, 82, I think it was, 10 to Midnight. I suggest everybody go watch it.
Watched it.
Yeah, go watch that movie and understand what it means to be a true vigilante in a time when you're a cop and told not to what? Protect your fellow citizenry. It's a very interesting movie that really just shows today what the world we're living in. I mean, it's a great movie. It's sick, it's twisted, but you can understand the world that these people, these vipers, were allowed to get. I mean, that's just another example of a Charles Bronson movie that people like. Well, what's this movie? 10 to Midnight. It's like, they don't think of Ted Bundy. They don't understand. What happened to all the serial killers? You notice that we don't have any. We're not really. We just rested that. Or the Long Island serial killer, but that was the last one. How many monsters are roaming the countryside?
Yeah,
How many?
His name is Fauci.
Yeah, exactly. And yet we still can't get this guy subpoenaed. The Great Escape was fantastic. One of my favorites. Great movie. Kelly's Heroes, Where Eagles Dare. If you haven't seen that movie, you got to watch it. Robin Mitchum. You got to watch that movie. That's a classic Clint Eastwood. But look, I think ultimately we have monsters roaming our countryside all the time. We do, and no one's calling this out in some way. And you notice how horror movies have shifted. I've watched less now, but I've seen more and more horror movies now, less spiritual, that are dropping off and more into what's being reflectively showcased as something of what the syndicate and all the people behind the scenes were doing. Like Ready or Not has a second movie that's out that's going to come on that you're going to be able to stream and stuff. Ready or Not 2 with the hunting parties. And I've seen more and more of these movies that are coming out in some way showcasing the criminal elite and cabal that are acting in this way in some way. I wish we'd have more and more movies based upon the Fall of Cabal series that was put out by the woman who committed suicide, I forget her name, that we could really see that in some type of, I don't know if it's fictional way or sci-fi way or what have you, but we need to see more of that stuff. And did you notice that there's no UFO stuff now? No UFO stuff. What happened to all the UAP UFO stuff? It's all gone away. And why is that? Because no one cares. No one really cares. Do you really care? You're not hearing anything about it, allies.
I think it's going to come back around with the quantum computing stuff.
Well, yeah. What's your thoughts about quantum computing? I mean, you understand that I had this thing I wanted to show. Oh, you know what? You just reminded me. Hold on. This is it. I wanted to play this on the other night, and I fucking forgot about it. And then you just reminded me. Here it is. Time travel, quantum leap. Remember the show Quantum? I used to love this show. It's an episode turning heads in the Trump connection. Let me just show you this. Did they fucking... Let me see if they cut this.
Yeah, my son used to watch it all the time with the portal or whatever.
Yeah, but there's a scene. Yeah, it's all about time jumping.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a scene where he plays a cabbie, and Trump's father is in it with young Donald. Where is this? Certainly is not.
Are you for real?
Yeah, it's a real series. I got to find this. Well, theory suggests Donald Trump. Let me see if this is it. So I watched this to go back into quantum series. Okay, that's not it. So hold on a second. I got to show you. I got to show you guys this. I didn't believe it, but then I went back in there. So there's an actual real scenario where he plays Scott Bakula. That's the character. He plays this time traveler, and that's who he is, to fix a course correct time that's at a loop, and that's what it is. And so the scene is that he plays a cab driver, and the people that are in the cab are Trump's father and young Donald. The point of the article is all right. So let me find this.
No
because
kidding.
here they hide this stuff. They hide this stuff in this, so I got to find it. So here's Baron Trump's not. Yeah, okay. So this is not it. I don't care about that stuff. But I gotta show his President Trump time ago. All right, I gotta look for it in the New York Post. Discovered.
Was that like Stargate or something?
No, it's not. Well, that has not. Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with Stargate, but Stargate's a separate series. All right,
I get confused with all that stuff because my son watched all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I never watched the Stargate stuff, but I watched this show. Certainly, there's let me the whole series. Let me see if this is it. I gotta find it. It's in here. It's in here. But what they do is they don't. When you watch this on WLT, yeah, there it is and stuff. But you got to find it on because they hide this stuff. Certainly, it's not near the whole series. Let me find this. Hold on. Yeah. So go ahead. Continue what you're saying. Yeah, I just got to find.
I just know my son watched all that kind of stuff, and I'll start telling him things about Q posts or things I'm hearing, and he'll say, "Mom, that's exactly out of such and such show." And it's like, what? He goes, "Yeah." He goes,
Right.
"I already know the storyline." It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I understand why it seems like it's like so weird every time they bring this up, but there is something to this. I got to find this. Man, I am so pissed. Here it is. Maybe this is it. Let's see. In the episode, here it is. Let's see if this is it. Fuck. Accelerating the post. No, he's talking about this. Okay. Accelerating the quantum. All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about the quantum stuff. To me, that's too far.
Well, I mean, it's quantum computing. It's basically what it is. Quantum computing is able to handle a vast amount of information, numbers, information that cannot be corrupted, cannot be intercepted, cannot be at a maximum speed of time. Okay, it's basically able to utilize. So when you have AI and all this other stuff in there, that it can simultaneously augment all the information that's be able to be, let's just say, pulled out and reached, encrypted, decrypted, in so many different ways. So in 1992 was one of them. People have chattering. So in this episode, Scott Bakula. All right, here it is. Is this it? Let me see. Here it is. Here it is. Hold on. Finally, I found it. Oh my God. They make this stuff so hard to find. Watch this. Scott Bakula. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're saying.
No, I just can't believe this. No kidding.
No, so Scott Bakula, this is a real episode.
Okay.
In Quantum Leap. Go look it up. I had to look up the episode. Watch. There he is, Scott
Where are you
Bakula,
going?
time travel.
Brokers meeting, New York Realtors. Oh, well, you know there's going to be a lot of money made in real estate in the future.
Really? Where?
Listen.
Oh,
Listen to this.
Well, I bet there are going to be a lot of taller buildings all around here. And, might even be some big glass tower right there next to Tiffany's. There you go.
Glass tower next to Tiffany's is
Hello,
Trump
Mr.
Tower.
Trump?
See
Did you hear that? Watch. You missed it.
Come on, Donald. Hello, Mr. Trump.
Oh, come on, Donald.
Trump?
See
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about that, ladies and gentlemen? I've been wanting to play this for the last couple of days, but apparently he time travels into the 1950s, and you hear a young Donald Trump with his father, and he's talking about the skyscrapers and all these other things, and his expression is just amazing. I mean, yeah, The Longest Day is a good one. Dirty Dozen. Yeah, Kelly's Heroes is the best. It's funny because of Don Rickles. Don Rickles was very funny in that movie. That's why I like that movie. I just like there's just so much. Telly Savalas. Most people don't even know who that guy is. But Telly Savalas is a great actor. Of course you do. Of course you do. You and I know who Telly Savalas is. It's Kojak, ladies and gentlemen. People are like, what the fuck is Kojak? I mean, look, I'm showing my age. I'm 53, but that's still ahead of me. But what I'm trying to tell you is that Telly Savalas was a great actor, and he was in a lot of good movies that he never gets any of the praise and wherewithal of just being an amazing actor. And he made that movie with Don Rickles. Those were the two people, because Kelly's Heroes is a classic. You can't. I used to watch it with my father-in-law all the time. We're smoking cigars and drinking scotch. We're laughing our ass off because of Oddball, because he was the funniest guy on the show. He's like, dude, who's this guy? And also Don Rickles plays what? A greedy Jew. It's like, oh, Kelly in the gold and stuff. And if you really understand and look through all this stuff, you'll start to see who these people are and what they are, because they were actually individually calling out who these people were that were part of the Kelly's Hero crew, individually who they were, that they were sacrificing for what. And they were saying, we're doing this for who and what are we getting out of it? There's an underpinning to that movie. You need to listen and you'll understand. One day I'll do a breakdown. All right, that's my show. Any parting thoughts? Otherwise, I got to go. I'm way behind this. I got to walk my dog.
No, enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for coming on and not being scared.
No worries. Keep the faith. Locked and loaded.
I mean, honestly, at least you're not scared. Like, oh my, I got people saying, I'm just scared to come. I'm like, why? Why am I going to beat? I mean, is it really because of the accent? Is it, I can't get rid of that. Is it really still there? My wife calls me a mobster. She goes, I don't know if you're Irish mobster or Italian mobster, the way you talk. And I'm like, honestly, the only way you can determine that is how I bury someone. Okay. So if I'm actually going to dispatch somebody, it's how I bury them. Then you can tell the difference between an Irish and an Italian. And that's my joke of the day. And anybody who gets it will understand our time of growing up in an area of a different era. Thank you, everybody over here on pill.net. You guys are great. Thea for 1.8 donations, Wood USA with 1.0, and Doral L with 1. Thank you all for supporting the platform. Everybody on Rumble and on YouTube. It's good to see everybody out there. You guys had a great time. A lot of people watching the show, a lot of people commenting. Thank you, Owl Eyes, for being here and stuff. That's our show for tonight. I got to dip out. I am way beyond my time. Have a good night. Be well, be safe. I will return on Sunday. Ciao, Bella. It's not Father's Day. Good night.